A crossover is
crossover dribble.
sing for the crossover.
Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane.
One of the most famous crossovers of all time.
Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
Crossovers.
The crossover continues to evolve.
All right, time for the crossover. It's brought to you by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. This is a big day because for the...
Oh, it's like Augusta.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys like that?
It's like they're the Masters.
For the second time ever, we are doing a double duty out at Werner Park today, where Connor Happer will perform his usual MC duties for Storm Chasers games and host a show with Josh. And we go there live now to the Birds of Augusta. And the strains of, is that Metallica in the background?
I don't think so. Hey,
Okay.
Joey, could you turn the feedback off in my ear?
Hello, friends.
Yeah, hello, friends. Hello, friends.
Someone keeps turning that on.
Today,
I don't know why.
Great take, Joey.
Well,
I
it's
feel
still
like
on.
the greatest.
Wop, 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 wop,
Yeah,
wop, wop,
yeah.
wop,
Okay,
wop.
we're back.
Better? All right,
Yes.
There you go.
You got us now?
Joe got you taken care of. It's Joe now, by the way.
Wait, why?
Whoa.
He's doing a rebranding.
16-20 to Joe.
Is this true?
Yeah, he
Wow.
turned 25, so
That was last month.
he has changed to just Joe.
He's Joe.
I'm not sure that I'm ready for that quite yet.
I'm going
but-
to join a circus and call it JoJo's Circus.
What?
Oh,
You know, people
Wow.
thought the Mr. Pibb Corporation was crazy when they rebranded to Pibb Extra.
And they were. It turned out
Maybe
they
a bad
were.
example.
Yeah. You guys like those? You guys like those birds chirping?
yeah.
It gives you the ambiance, doesn't it?
It does.
Love it.
Hey, it's because of those birds that you have crowd mic problems there.
It is because they crap all over the receiver
Oh,
for this
okay.
Yeah.
for this microphone right here,
Yeah.
and then it's problematic. But I was thinking about getting a bullhorn or something like that to just start yelling at people.
Should.
That's my
Oh.
backup option.
Like, where would you go to get a bullhorn?
I don't know. I
Do you
think
think a Radio Shack might have one?
Well, does Radio Shack exist?
Does Radio Shack exist? That's a good question.
No. Producer Joe might know. Because he's talking about joining the circus. Maybe he's a big fan of Nobbies or something like that.
Nobbies does not exist
don't
anymore.
No, they don't
Yeah.
exist anymore.
What?
Nobbies doesn't
Yeah.
exist. Radio
Yeah.
Shack doesn't exist.
It's been like that for years.
I don't think you could get a bullhorn at Nobbies.
You might have to go to your local police precinct.
Or go to
Poll
Party
question:
City.
can you get a bullhorn at Nobbies?
Well, no, Nobbies isn't a thing anymore.
Yes, Nobbies is
Yeah.
closed.
If it was a thing,
Okay.
which I didn't know about. I didn't know that Nobbies closed.
Yeah.
That's really
Oh,
disappointing.
Man. The husband and wife, they went into retirement, rich
Mhm.
people.
I bet. I went there every Halloween, like maybe a couple times in between Halloweens as well.
Sure.
I wish I could remember their location on Center has been replaced by something very obscure.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a big space.
Yes, it is.
It's like I want to say like a putt place or like a family fun center or
That's-
Spirit Halloween.
I mean, and in this town, we do need more trampoline parks.
We do.
How many do we have now? 6?
All right, you can get
1100.
a 30-watt megaphone bullhorn with siren and music for $22 on Amazon.
Well, I want to go to
There
the
you go.
store, just like I
Well,
used to go to Nobbies.
I don't know if you're going to be able to find it anywhere. That's a pretty good deal, too, and you get a siren on it. So come on.
Barry Gibb comments on the show yet again. Also, Barry Gibb's still alive.
Living it up.
I've been on the roof of Nobbies illegally, says
Whoa.
Barry Gibb.
Whoa.
Oh.
How do you wind up there?
Story there.
It's a great question. Maybe Barry Gibb will follow up.
I'm Barry. Yeah.
Take it easy,
Hey,
Josh.
I did hear you yesterday
That got
say
close.
Barry is alive at 77.
I know. I thought he died.
Yeah.
I thought he did too.
I thought for sure that he had died. I don't know why I heard that.
Bee Gees is dead.
Which
Yeah.
Barry?
Well, what's the other one?
Were you guys trying to kill off Barry Manilow?
No, Barry Gibbs.
Oh, okay.
Barry Gibb.
Barry Gibb. Barry Gibb. My bad.
Gotcha.
Blah, blah.
Who's Barry Gibb's?
Singular Gibb.
Who's Barry Gibb's guy that he was with on the SNL sketch with Justin Timberlake? I don't. Yeah, he might have died. I'm not sure. Sorry, I don't claim to know anything about the Bee Gees.
KDH68760
Good
says
name.
I rented the Nobbies owner's neighboring house from them with 3 buddies after college while in law school, and they were the best landlords ever.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I would
All
think
right.
the people
Hey,
who run
Nobby
Nobbies would
family?
have to be pretty cool.
They were great. They were like the nicest people. They were District 66 people.
Do you guys know that they actually were part of a Jerky Boys skit? Jerky Boys called Nobbies.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, they were in one of the Jerky Boys episodes. Unknowing, too, as everybody was during Jerky Boys, which made it great. But yeah, they said, what are you, Nobbies? Nobby? Floppy Nobby? Yeah, it was actually pretty funny.
I always wonder why Nobbies wasn't like I thought that thing would have taken off. I thought there would have been about 8 locations around town, maybe some Nobbies in like Kansas City or, Grand Island or something like that.
Regional.
Yeah.
A regional reach.
It was a great store.
It was.
I miss it.
These are good questions. We might have to get Joy and Gordon on to discuss the history of
Yeah.
Nobbies.
I think that would be good.
I have a Gibb update. Of the 3 Gibb brothers who were in the Bee Gees, Barry is the only one still with us.
Wow.
Okay.
Does he still tour?
Great
know what Barry
question. I don't
Gibb's
have
up
the
to.
answer there for you.
Why do I have a feeling this had something to do with staying alive? Like literally, like you guys were getting that. Because I have no idea what you guys were talking about yesterday.
No, it was Barry Gibb commenting on our show. Barry Gibb is in the YouTube comments.
Oh, okay.
He was on the roof of Nobbies, remember?
And he was, okay. So
Yeah.
Not from the, all right.
That's Barry Gibb.
I
That's
thought
it
you
right
guys
there.
were just calling him Barry Gibb.
No, his name is literally Barry Gibb. It says
Wow.
it on his name.
Justin Timberlake played Robin Gibb, who is no longer with us.
Oh, okay.
Sad.
How come we've never had a sequel to Saturday Night Fever?
I'm surprised we haven't by now. Yeah, there needs to be a new John Travolta. I don't know who that would be.
I mean, John Travolta's still alive.
So, like, the kids love
But I
old
just don't know.
stuff.
He just couldn't pull it off the way that he did back at Saturday Night Fever.
The kids love old stuff these days, but did they love disco?
I mean-
I don't know. I think it stops right after disco.
There was a sequel to Saturday Night Fever in 1983 titled Staying Alive.
Oh.
Right.
Notoriously terrible.
Yes, but as far as getting him back in the old white suit, and now John Travolta shaved his head now too, so he couldn't pull that off. He
Wow.
couldn't pull off the look anymore.
We could do a wig.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everybody would see right through it.
I didn't know that Travolta shaved his head. What happened? He just
Well, apparently he was faking the old I've got hair thing for a while, and then got exposed a little bit, so just decided to lean into it.
Say, I'm gonna let go.
Yeah. Oh
Yep.
yeah, I had to do that very quickly in my life.
Is the best role that John Travolta has ever had is Santa Claus in commercials?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yes.
I mean,
I don't think so.
I'll put Pulp Fiction in the conversation.
Pulp Fiction's up there, yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
I liked him in Look Who's Talking, but hey,
Face
that's
Off.
just me. Yeah. Oh, Face Off.
Face/off.
Yes.
He was was he Castor Troy or he was the other guy?
No, he was the other guy.
Well,
Okay.
what
Nick
about
Cage
Danny
was Castor
Zuko?
Troy. Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, Danny Zuko is a classic John Travolta. He's been in some bad ones, too. What was the one with him and Christian Slater? And they're both...
Broken Arrow.
Yeah, that was terrible. Howie Long was in that one, too.
Yep. Howie
that a good
Long's
one?
very brief acting career, that and Firestorm.
He was going to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He was.
Howie Long was really bad.
Can we go back to something here?
Please.
What?
Why did disco suddenly die in America in the late 70s?
The White Sox killed it.
With Disco Demolition Night?
Yeah.
You might be onto something. You might have hit the nail on the head.
Like when
Ooh, I found stock.
like the Kmart Corporation, in meetings they're always like, okay, why don't people like Kmart? And it always comes back to Dustin Hoffman and Rain Man talking about Kmart, and Tom Cruise said
Kmart sucks.
Yep.
All right, so here's what Google
true.
AI is telling me. Disco's popularity as a major trend in United States music declined after 1979 and continued to decrease in the early 80s. Some say the decline was due to a number of factors, including Disco Demolition Night.
Nice, Josh.
July 12, 1979. Backlash just to disco in general. Some say that disco represented a safe space for Black, Latino, gay, and feminist expression.
Sure.
And some say the genre faced backlash as a result. So they're going the other way.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know. This is just
I
what
thought
AI
there
is
might be
telling me.
drug use in there.
America
but no.
took their radios back.
Disco record sales decline. And some say that the genre became over-commercialized, which also led to increased hate. It wasn't hipster
It
anymore.
used to be about the love and the music.
Yep.
Also, AI is saying AIDS.
AIDS killed disco.
AIDS killed disco. Okay.
Yes.
Hmm.
Devastating.
Bit of a hot take from AI.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know it had its
where
impact
AI's
on a
getting
rock
this.
legend, but I didn't know it killed disco.
Yeah, I don't know where AI is getting this stuff. They're
Is this a poll question?
What did AIDS kill disco?
AIDS killed disco.
I
I mean, it's kind of a
think so.
dark one, but
Too
okay.
much fire. I don't want to go near that one.
No, there was a moment in my life, I would say early high school, maybe early 90s, that it tried to get revived a little bit. There was a lot of the greatest disco hit CDs coming out so you could enjoy it. Because, I mean, I was born in 79. And so there were people I remember trying to resuscitate some disco and make it cool again. You'd hear it at some stadiums. You still do every now and then hear a disco tune at a stadium now and then. But
ironically.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's completely underground. I would say it's on life support. It's there. It just doesn't have much of a pulse.
Maybe we do disco demolition night here at Werner Park at some point for the rest of the season.
Just finish it off?
Yeah.
Completely finish it off?
Yeah, just really, really, I mean.
Come on, death blow.
Yeah. Just really send it, This is it.
Yeah, don't even call it demolition night. It's called the disco death blow night.
What do you guys think about, I'm watching the Toledo Mudhens getting loose right now. I assume Spencer Torkelson is in there somewhere.
Nice.
What do you guys think about baseball players warming up with the football nowadays?
That's a big popular one.
Everybody's doing that. I used to do it because before starts, it would make my hand feel bigger.
Okay.
It would because it's almost like a bat donut kind of. You make your, you stretch your hand out a little bit to reach around the football.
I never threw a football before a baseball game. Never did.
Well, you were late on the trend.
I know, I was. But this was also before
Paul Skenes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's before resistance bands too.
Paul Skenes did a great thing yesterday. He said, "I don't care about anything else. I'd like to meet Bob Uecker." What a call by him.
Wow.
Great
you
job.
truly are a baseball man.
Hey, did you see in his hand he had a baseball and a pen?
He did. He brought one for an autograph.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We love this guy. What's wrong with calling Paul Skenes, who pitched at Werner Park 2 months ago? What's wrong with calling him the best guy in baseball right now? I don't see a problem with it. He's only pitched in 10 games, but I'm ready to say it.
I'm ready to rule.
That guy is awesome. What's wrong with that?
I'm right there with you. He's one of the top pitchers in baseball right now, and he's a cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
And a year ago yesterday, he got drafted.
Yep.
God.
Yep.
That is insane. And 380 days ago, he was pitching downtown in Omaha for the LSU Tigers.
Damn right.
Nuts.
2 years ago, he was a cadet.
That's right.
Couldn't fit
hitting bombs.
Wouldn't
for
have been
Air
able to
Force.
fit into a cockpit.
And a couple of months ago, he was at just a random Creighton baseball game with Lemmy Dunn.
That's right. During one of the rainout games.
What a year it's been for Paul Skenes.
Man, he's traveled.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, just
I was
hanging
walking around. I was doing that game and walking around. Why is Paul Skenes and Lemmy Dunn here?
Yep.
What's going on?
Just visiting. Might as well
That
go
was
back
awesome.
to where it all happened.
Yeah. Maybe it was part of their love story.
Yeah.
This is where I won that tournament, baby.
Let's have a calm day at the
Ballpark.
ballpark where it all happened.
He is Mr. Omaha because, when he was in town for his only time as a pro, remember that was an 11 a.m. game that he pitched.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was.
But that wasn't a Kids' Day one, right? That was just an 11
No,
a.m.
it
game.
was the Kids'
Was
Day.
it Kids' Day?
Kids' Day.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Talk about luck.
Yeah, I don't think today's not a Kids' Day. Today is a senior bingo,
That's
I believe.
right.
Yeah, so can you explain how this is all going to be pulled off? Because Gary's been talking about senior bingo. I want to know, are they doing this in between pitches? What happens at senior bingo?
No, I don't think you'll see the senior bingo. It's
No?
gonna be taking place over on one of the party decks over back here. I believe they do that before the game. I don't think they do it during the game, although that'd be fun.
They should do it in between pitches.
I get up on top of the dugout and I say, B14.
Yes. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
You know what? You could do it the entire game, after every pitch.
Right. That's what I mean. In between every
It'd
pitch.
be great.
Yes.
Especially because
Strike I-35.
Hold on. Pause the pitch clock. We have a bingo.
And then, just like they do now with the challenges at home plate.
Yeah.
Someone
exactly.
challenges it in section 14.
Yeah, you're like, I don't believe it. I want to see it.
This guy's a liar. Show me your card.
I honestly thought maybe they were doing that. So.
What do you think the percentage of people that are showing up for senior bingo today have brought their own stamper?
Over 60%.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
They got their
the
own.
correct term is called dauber.
Yeah,
It's
your
a dauber.
dauber. Yep, your dauber.
It's,
Yep.
it's a dauber, and I would say that these people are probably experts if they're showing up to senior bingo. Now, I'll say this. I know some people with some daubers. They're big
Okay.
bingo people.
I mean, they probably come pack. They probably bring it everywhere 24/7.
Yeah.
Stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
yeah, Nick, you know the people with the daubers.
Oh yeah, I
as
do.
well.
Yeah, beer bingo people.
People who play bingo take it very, very seriously. And so if you have the dauber, you're like up top. You're in the elite section
Yeah.
of the bingo community.
You
and
should
that's where
be.
you want to
It's
be.
like when you roll into the sports bar and you have your own darts. You know that person's
Oh.
not messing around.
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh,
there's
yes,
oh.
yes.
Connor, those are the people that if they just say, "Hey, anybody want to play a game of darts?" You're like, "Yeah, I'll play it." If you see him open up a case or her open up a case and they pull their own darts out, get out of that thing. Get out of that thing right away.
Can
Lucky,
you?
I've never been to a place where I've seen that before, so I'm
I
fortunate.
see it a lot at Phoenix. The Phoenix
Ooh.
bar.
You see a lot of things. at the
You do
Phoenix.
see a lot of things at the Phoenix.
Lizzie's.
Can you be the same person that has your own darts that brings them to play darts and also your own pool cue?
Oh,
I was just thinking that.
you're
So
a-
that's kind of the next thing.
Probably
you're a
some
god
overlap
amongst
there.
men if you do that.
But how would you transport your pool cue? Do you also bring your own pool balls?
No. I mean, Connor. Now
No,
we're just getting
you're
now we're
using
just getting
house
ridiculous.
You use the balls that are provided to you.
Okay.
Hopefully you do. Yeah, no, you have your case. You could even have a little built-in compartment for your darts with your pool cue.
I guess they do have the
Pretty
ones
good.
that you could twist apart
Mhm.
and
Yes.
it kind of
Yeah.
you know
In
breaks
half.
into two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That type of
is-
person, I don't know if I'm even. I don't even know if I could hang out with that person.
I don't bring my own anything anywhere except for golf clubs. That's the only thing I bring places.
You,
You brought your
yeah.
own cup.
I do bring my cup.
You don't have your own bowling ball?
No, I do not have my own bowling ball. Never have. I considered it a few times,
Ooh.
but never have purchased a bowling ball.
I don't bowl enough or ever did to where I wanted to make that purchase. What they had provided to the lanes was good enough for me.
Never even thought about it.
No, I never thought about it.
Well, it's the same thing-
Actually, I did once when I saw Kingpin. I wanted to have the rose in the middle.
I want to be that guy.
Yeah, I did want the rose in the middle.
it's the same idea as golf clubs, right? Like you go bowling and you're like, man, I left probably, I don't know, 10, 20 pins out there. If this ball would have been fitted for me,
Yeah.
then I probably am automatically better. That's kind of the idea. Now, is it worth it? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Is saving, 5 to 8 strokes in golf worth it? Probably over a long period of time.
Yep.
Is it worth it for saving 10 to 20 pins on bowling once every year?
See, if I bowled more, I probably would look at it that way. Like I look at
Exactly.
golf. Or, hey, if I can shave some strokes off my game because it's, I got a custom fitting, that's probably worth it. And, hey, there are people who love to bowl, so I'm sure they do look at it that way.
People do love bowling.
Hey,
and it's such a cool flex to be good at bowling, too.
Yeah, it
Awesome.
really is.
My,
Connor, I don't know if this happened to you yesterday, but I do remember before we adjourned for the holiday, you mentioned you weren't going to drink.
Oh, yeah, that didn't work.
I noticed that. I just wanted to say, how long did that last? Because I saw a few photos where,
Oh,
to
really?
the contrary, yeah.
Well, you said you were going to a wedding.
you
and you're
catch
like,
me
how
in
do
the
I
act?
socialize?
I caught you in the act of the ball game.
Oh, yeah, I was at a baseball game, and so I
Yeah.
had to do that. I went to a wedding, so I had to do that.
Sure.
But just those
Okay.
are
All right.
those don't count.
Okay.
Those don't count.
Just checking you. That's
Drinking is still canceled. Drinking is still canceled. We had a meeting
Right.
last night where there was beer present. Guess who didn't have one? Me. Guess who did have one and it exploded all in his face? Nick Hanley.
It was me. I was telling Gary about that one after everything I had going on yesterday, that it just was very fitting that thing
Hey,
exploded
don't worry,
in my face.
Nick. That happened to me Friday when I was filling in for USC.
Did you
for the
have
one
a beer
beer? Oh,
explode in
you
your
had the
face?
one beer Friday explode in your face?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's why my face.
That's why the board doesn't work.
Yep. No wonder we're having issues with
That's
StreamYard.
why we are having issues.
Jeez. God, now it all makes sense.
Joey, I got great news for you.
It's Joe.
Sorry, Joe. Derek White will be replacing Kawhi Leonard,
Yep.
who quit Team USA.
I know that already.
It's the year of Joe.
America.
It is.
3 Celtics on Team USA.
I think I'd be more
Interesting.
excited if it was Caitlin Clark.
Oh, now
They
that
should
would
do
be like,
that.
hey, she's not going to be making the women's team. Well, we're going to have her on the
Might,
men's
might
team.
as well.
Oh, talk about just getting in the WNBA's face on that one, too.
Do
Take
you
that.
think
Awesome.
Caitlin Clark could get 10 points against South Sudan?
Oh,
Yep. She got 15, Josh. 15.
oh
No offense
Yep.
to the South Sudanese team.
Yeah, why did it have to be South Sudan? Joe?
That's in America's pool.
They're
that's
like
in their pool.
they're
Oh,
like
okay.
one of the
Yeah.
poorer
Yeah.
teams.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
They
like
got
that's this
Serbia,
year's Angola.
Puerto Rico.
They're not getting out to extend the D on her. No.
I mean, they probably have some length though.
Yeah, some length. Maybe she gets a couple of up and unders.
Yeah.
They'd run a ball screen for her.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
No,
get her coming off of a
clear some space.
yeah, get her coming off a pin down.
Mhm.
You know, let it
Can
fly.
you imagine her and Steph on the floor at the same time?
Oh!
My God, this would blow people's mind.
Not enough ball for the both of them.
All right. Well, you
right.
guys enjoy your afternoons.
Yeah, I will see you guys shortly.
Oh yes, Gary. Yes, make sure you come say hello.
I will. Are you guys for all the listeners out there behind home plate?
Yeah, pretty much behind home
Yep.
plate, underneath section 1. Let's call it 14. Yeah.
Hey, remember last year we did this? Will the game be over before the show is over?
Okay.
It was
so,
close.
Yeah, it was. We were just talking about this before the show. So we had like an hour 59-minute game last time we did this, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember.
I just don't like our odds ever on that. But it's a day game. Guys want to get out of here. Maybe take some quick swings and go. I don't know. I think our over/under is probably sitting at about 220.
Spencer Torkelson wants to see the city, and tonight's his chance.
He wants to go back to Haymarket Park.
Yeah,
where
he's
he
only
hit
been in
a
Lincoln.
700-foot home run.
Yeah, I was on that call. He did good.
He was really good.
Yeah, and then he got to the professional level, and they threw him fastballs, and whoo,
Yeah, who knew?
yeah.
Didn't really work out.
Boy,
Yeah.
I really thought that call down would be temporary, and he's still here.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he is. All right, boys,
folks.
have a great show. This is fun.
Yes, it was indeed. Come on out, by the way, to Werner Park. That's Gary and Nick in the morning, and that is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Let's take a second and kind of set things up here for today. So, yes, we are live at Werner Park, Omaha and Toledo at noon. I'm going to be doing my duties with the Storm Chasers, which is yelling at little children and telling them to run in places and things like that. In front of everybody, and doing this show at the same time. Now, sometimes I won't be able to do both at the same time. Josh will kind of man down the fort. I'm sure President C will stop by. We'll have a lot of different stuff going on during the show today. Our guests, our lineup, which is powered by the Rooferees of John Higgins Weather Guard. Mitch Sherman will join the show as usual at 11:30. We'll talk some college football with him, Evan Cooper, and more. And Cade Povich, that's right, Major League Baseball pitcher Cade Povich, former Husker, will join the show here in just about 5 minutes. A big leaguer from the minor league home of America right here, Werner Park. Baseball indeed. Nice get, Josh. Cade Povich coming on the show in just a couple minutes. Also, it's Wednesday, so the tweet bag is coming your way. Send us a tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You can email Connor, Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. You can call or text 402-951-1620. Even if you text it, it's still a tweet.
Absolutely.
On the tweet bag. So send those in. We'll pop that thing open at noon. Many other things going on today. Our graphic of the day is back. It is July 10th, which means we have a couple boxes that we haven't checked in terms of off-season conversations yet, and we're working on it today, and that is the topic of Blue Bloods. Blue Bloods. Thank you, Andy Staples. I appreciate that. Arch Manning's going to be in the stupid video game after saying he wasn't. Mike Gundy said a very dumb thing. Katy Perry is a college football expert. And we have some Big 12 on Big 12 fights going on as media days are happening right now. So that is the setup for today's show. Connor Happer, Josh Otson with you live from beautiful Werner Park. My only complaint is the haze. Is Canada doing it to us again with the smoke and the I've heard about that. Or is it Kansas this time? I have no idea.
It's one or the other.
Either way, it's beautiful. It's a lovely day out here at Werner Park. So come and join us for a first pitch at 12:05 today between the Storm Chasers and the Toledo Mud Hens. We'll come back and we'll be joined by Baltimore Orioles pitcher Cade Povich, former Husker, joins the show on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you live from Werner Park, where we are about an hour and a half away from first pitch between the Omaha Storm Chasers and the Toledo Mud Hens today. We got some baseball. We're talking baseball. We're watching baseball. We're talking to baseball players, which is absolutely fantastic. And we are very happy to be joined right now on the 42 Degrees, the Source Hotline, by a big leaguer, and that is Cade Povich, former Husker. You guys know the name, and he joins us now. Cade, thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on.
No problem, man. So, I mean, we're gonna dive into this as far as we possibly can. What are the last couple? You know, you've been a big leaguer for a month now, so I guess take us through those moments when maybe you felt like it was going to happen and it didn't, or then, of course, when it did. What was that like for you to finally get the call?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of all crazy, just going through the year in AAA and trying to put up good numbers and stay consistent throughout the year. And then, some things happened. Unfortunately, some guys went down, but the team was in Toronto, and there was a open start basically. The same day I was planned out to start in AAA, and they called me and told me that they were going to get me on a plane to Toronto, and have me sit there for the day before I would start, just to make sure I could get through customs and all that, and but then start the next day against Toronto, and being first start debut out of the country, it was kind of crazy, getting family and friends all together, and it's turned into a fun last month or so, and also being able to throw against Schwallenbach and see him a couple times. It's been a blast.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I mean, the whirlwind, first of all, of that, but I was going to ask you about that. So you had, on that short of notice, where you had basically like 48 hours, you got some family up there in Toronto, like, everybody had their passports ready to go and everything like that. Man, that's really cool. How about that experience of your family showing up and being at your first major league start?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I know they would never miss it for anything. When I was at Nebraska, they were at every game that we were at home, and plenty more on the road as well. So I always had faith that they would be able to make it, and it was definitely a fun experience. It was crazy though, because the day I threw was also a getaway day, so we didn't really have much time after the game.
That's crazy. Cade Povich is with us, former Husker, Baltimore Orioles pitcher. What have you, like, not only what's the last month been like for you, but as a pitcher, as a baseball player, what have you learned? How difficult is it to not only, the first start's a whirlwind, you step on that mound for the first time and you got to figure some stuff out, but maybe does it get harder or easier after the second and the third start? What has that process been like for you?
I think, I mean, the first few, it's obvious. AAA is like, you're one call away. You're right there. There's guys that have had time in the big leagues and have been up and down, and there's some big names there. And then the first few starts, it's like you're facing guys that you grew up watching, like Justin Turner, and I think after the first few, it kind of took a moment where, it just kind of set in that it's still baseball, and you're at their level now, and I don't want to say it all kind of goes back to normal, because I don't think it ever feels just like normal anymore, but you kind of get a little used to it until you see something else and you're like, oh, that's really cool.
Have you had a welcome to the big league moments yet? Have you faced anyone where it's been like, whoa, this is why am I here? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching Kershaw, so I always watched the Dodgers, and my dad has always been a Dodgers fan when I was growing up. So we'd watch Justin Turner. That was my mom's favorite player. Facing Corey Seager. I always watched Max Fried. So when we were playing the Braves and Fried was throwing, there's just always guys. Like this week we're playing the Cubs and Bellinger, who was on that Dodgers team as well. Just kind of seeing those guys. And I'm sure, also we have Kimbrel on our team who's a future Hall of Famer, and it's just like, I think you always have this picture of like, I wonder what that guy's like. And just being in the clubhouse with a guy like him and seeing how he is, it's kind of crazy.
Awesome. Cade Povich is with us. Well, I mean, not only you got some guys who are really, really well established in that clubhouse, you got a couple, young stars who are your teammates, like growing faces of the game. What's it like being around Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman on a daily basis? What are those guys like?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Adley's amazing guy to work with behind the plate. Just free and easy. Could obviously swing it from both sides of the plate. Super mature kid. And then Gunnar as well. I mean, I think he just turned 23, but you would never guess. You would think he was an older guy that's had at least 4 or 5 plus years up here. Just the way he kind of carries himself, goes about his business, and is mature with everything.
When did you kind of map out that there might be a chance that you face your old college teammate Spencer Schwellenbach in the major leagues? We talked about it for a few minutes on the show that day. It's unbelievable how it's just sort of luckily worked out that way. You guys are both called up recently, and then end up pitching against each other on the same day. How cool is that experience, and when did you kind of start to think that it was going to be a possibility?
It was really cool. I mean, it was awesome for the both of us. We've stayed in contact. So I think after I started in my debut, I knew we were coming back home and facing Atlanta. And so we were kind of talking, and I had asked him when he thought he was going to pitch. And he thought it was going to be the first day. So he thought he was going to miss me by a day, but they also had an off day, and they were kind of up in the air on if they were going to flip him and Fried to keep Fried on his schedule. So there was a possibility that he would be able to go Wednesday against me. And then I think 3 or 4 days or so before the start, he confirmed with me that they told him he was going to start Wednesday. And, that's when Coach Bolton, we had our academic advisor when we were there, and our old athletic trainer that was there for us come up as well, and both our families. So it was really cool. We were talking about it for probably that whole week leading up to it.
Cade Povich is with us. Well, I mean, let's go back a little bit, and we'll just keep you for 1 or 2 more here, Cade. We know you got to get on with it, but that 2021 team, I mean, you and Schwelle were a big part of it, and Nebraska's trying to. It feels like they're always trying to kind of recapture the magic of what you guys did to end the season in 2021 with that regional in Arkansas. I guess what do you take from that experience and that group, and then Nebraska baseball now, like I said, trying to replicate that experience more and more every day. I guess what do you remember about that time, that team, and you think about the players that were on that group? It's a pretty special one. So I guess what are your thoughts from that group, and what do you take from it now?
Yeah, I mean, we were all a close group, and I think that's a big reason as to why we got as far as we did. We pushed each other, and we were always around each other as well, on the field and off the field, and we just kind of grew close, and it was kind of like a lock arms, and let's do this all together. And Coach Bolton and his staff are amazing. great at developing guys, pushing guys, getting guys better, making sure they all kind of do what they need to do and stay on that course. And, it's hey, if you're going to be here, then you're going to put the work in. If not, then, unfortunately, find somewhere else because that's not going to work here.
Yep.
And I said after our last game, I said, I think Coach Bolt has a team, and he's going to have a team that is here, and I think Nebraska baseball is going to be around for a long time. And I try and watch as much as I can. And I mean, the team they had this last year was really good to watch. Obviously, winning the Big Ten and whatnot. But I think obviously that still taking steps up. But I think it's just a matter of time.
Cade, thanks, man. I really appreciate you doing this. Congratulations on all your success, and we look forward to watching you every 5 days in the big leagues, man. Great job, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thanks again for having me.
That is Cade Povich, former Husker, current Baltimore Oriole, and man, it's so funny because that guy's a major leaguer. He's just like everybody else, but it's so funny when guys come from around here and you get to know him a little bit. And obviously, he went to Bellevue West as well. Like he's from around here and he's a Husker, and then we get to see those guys go off, and they are all of a sudden a guy like him, who was a great pitcher in college, is surrounded, like he is throwing to Adley Rutschman every day, and like that's probably not as big of a deal to him because he lives it on a daily basis than it feels like to us.
That's Adley. That's the guy that leaves his socks all over the clubhouse.
But I can't help but ask in situations like that. And then I'm sure where it gets him, and he mentioned it, like dudes who are, probably 35, somewhere around there. They've been in the big leagues for 10 years, 10, 15 years. They've won championships. They've been stars for a long time. And you just, they're your peers now. It's really, really weird to think about.
And something to look at the end of this month. I don't know everybody's rotation, but it could happen again because the Orioles have a weekend series with the Padres.
Waldron,
my close personal friend Matt Waldron, could meet up with Cade Povich.
How many people are you close personal friends with at this point? We have Frank Caliendo, Jeff Jarrett, and Matt Waldron's dad.
If word association, you hear Josh Hodgson, you think
close personal friend.
Just very personable, very outgoing, loves people. That's Josh Hodgson.
That is exactly what I think all the time. And he's got a great baseball jersey game that's going on right now. Look at that.
My zone jersey.
Nice. Letters stitched onto. They're not tiny baby letters on the back?
No, this is real. It's
fantastic. Connor Happer, Josh Hodgson, everyone's friend Josh Hodgson with you out here at Werner Park. 12:05 first pitch between Toledo and Omaha. I will be bouncing in and out starting at about 11:30. Mitch Sherman will join the show here in about 45 minutes. The tweet bag is coming up at noon, but we'll have a good old-fashioned fun day from the ballpark as we continue on a Wednesday, the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. Look at that. This 360 cam really does rule, man.
It pays off.
It really does, because there you see on the bottom half, which is the field-facing side, Marty Cordero.
Not illegally disseminating. Just want to be clear.
No, we wouldn't dare. You hear him? Or is he on this one?
No.
Well, this is our fault now. See, we're our own producers today. There we go. Josh has got a working one. Josh had to go on a hunt for headsets this morning.
Thank you,
Apparently, he
Josh.
found the wrong.
I appreciate it.
2 of the wrong 3, but we got.
Well, I think these probably work. It's probably a cord.
Almost 100%.
Almost 100%. So,
what's going on?
Well, you interrupted my story to go live on radio. What do you have, a job to do or something?
It's always funny when people come up to us, like, during, when we're out on the road. I'm like listening to it. I'm like, I'm also trying to listen out of this ear, so I'm half listening. I always feel bad. So I feel bad.
Of all people, don't feel bad. I'm no one. I'm no one. But no, it's a great day at the park. Obviously, we're early in the second half, and the Royals are playing well. I'm not going to say playing great, but they're playing well.
They're good enough.
They need to get back home, right the ship, and but here at Werner Park, the team's here through Sunday, and still a lot of baseball to play in 2024.
There sure is. Well, there will be some extra baseball in 2024.
Yes.
Which is pretty exciting.
It is. Playoffs for the first time since 2014, so 10 years here at Werner Park anyway, and playoff tickets are on sale now. So for those out there asking, that's the 23rd, 24th, 25th of
September.
Yeah, it's around there. Maybe it's 24, 25, 26. But it's that week, that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we will host the winner of the second half. And I've had numerous people ask, what happens if the Chasers win the second half? I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but it would be.
Also, I mean, who cares?
Yeah,
we're number one. That's what happens.
It would be, but we don't just advance to the championship game in Vegas on the 28th. We would play the team with the next best overall record. So,
you got it right. 24, 25, 26 of September, Tuesday through Thursday.
Yeah. So all 3 games. It's a 3-game, 2 out of 3 International League Championship, and it's a little different. First half, second half. This is the second year AAA's done that, and we won the first half. So Jersh has the team playing well, and we'll see what the rest of the season holds.
Yep, it's awesome. And we got a good day for baseball out here today, which I'm excited about.
It's like perfect. It does not feel like July. It really does.
I spent the weekend in the mountains. In the mountains, Coors Field. It was about 75 degrees.
Was it nice?
That was perfect. It was a perfect day for baseball, except for one thing, Marty. The game was too short, as I'm sure you have this blank stare on your face right now.
I know. I heard you yesterday.
Oh, I thought I sent you a text on Sunday, and I think Marty would probably like this. I had a beer, so I was like, let's text Marty about my thoughts on baseball, and so I did, and I just thought you were the right audience for it.
And I was watching the game as well.
Yeah.
So I knew what you were going through. Very seldom do I have opportunities to get to watch the Royals. I actually watched most of Friday night's game and most of Sunday's game. We had no baseball or soccer here at Werner Park this weekend, so it was kind of nice, and got to see some great pitching and one day of decent offense. I wouldn't even say it was great offense, but it was decent on Sunday. Scored a lot of runs, but the offense was very inconsistent. Only left 3 runners on base. But, they'll get that right, I do believe, on the road, and still playing well at home. But, look, back to the whole point. Rushed baseball, the best thing that can happen, at least my opinion, for minor league baseball is for the big leagues to continue to have 210, 220 games, because at some point it does start to impact.
Absolutely.
And no offense to the Rockies, but they're out and they'll be out of the playoff hunt. So for them, it is more about in-park experience, and really amazing 2.6 million fans they drew last year. And I mean, you were there over the weekend. They had a sellout on, I believe it was Friday night.
Yeah, they get good crowds.
Yeah, it's great. And Sunday's crowd was still, upper 20s. But part of it is experience. It's being able to watch the game, grab a beer. Look, it's no different here. And I think you guys were talking about a grab and go scenario. being able to grab a beer.
Yeah, that's
Josh,
what someone said.
Josh, and maybe it was Monday. I don't know what day. I listened to both shows, but the backstop here, that is your spot that you can run in and you can grab a beer, and you're in and out of there 2 or 3 minutes, not the 2 innings. Maybe it was one of your listeners that had texted in or had messaged in that day. So when you're at Werner, visit the backstop. It's behind the third base, lower level suites, and that's your spot to grab a bag of peanuts and grab one of, I don't know, there's 50 selections in there. It's crazy.
No, it's awesome.
I mean, it's unbelievable how many different choices of adult beverage as well as non-alcoholic Gatorade, water, and Celsius, and there's any number of other products in there as well.
Yeah. The thing is, it's the major league. We always talk about college sports, and I think professional sports are in the same vein. It becomes more and more like a television product, and the fact is, for minor league baseball, for people like you, Marty, it doesn't. You don't need it to be a television product. It's about the people at the ballpark, and so that's where you guys have been really nimble and made things like that. And it where there's this conflict at the big league level where you're trying to figure out what's the best experience for fans, but also what's the best television product. You guys got one thing to worry about: how many people show up to the ballpark, and that's pretty much your story.
That's right. And how do we make them repeat fans? And but look, minor league baseball teams across the country have been doing it for years, and we'll continue to have the fun interactive promotions, the theme nights, doing live radio during a game while some crazy on-field MC takes 2 duties. Look, it's all about engagement in the community, and we'll see what happens at the big leagues, and I think if they're sub 3 hours, I think they'll be fine with their television deals.
Yeah, I think so too. That's the way it looks right now. What else is going on for the next couple months out here? I mean, it's baseball, soccer all the time. I was talking to a couple people on the grounds a few weeks ago, and how fast things happen in terms of turnover and stuff like that, which is, always crazy to me, but it feels like you guys got something out here basically every night.
Well, there's a lot. Anthony Getz, he leads our special events team, and I wouldn't say we haven't stopped special events, but it's slowed down a lot.
Sure.
We're having 1, 2, or 3 a week instead of 1, 2, or 3 a game right now. A day. During the state high school tournament, I think it was over that 10-day period. We had something like 35 events over 10 days here. I mean, it was a lot in the month of May, especially those couple weeks. So it's not quite to that level, but there's a lot happening. And from a grounds perspective, the grounds crew puts in a lot of time, a lot of effort. We appreciate what they do to flip the field from baseball back to soccer, and we're luckily in a period to where they flipped after the June 27th soccer match.
Yeah,
they won't flip it. Flip to baseball. They won't flip it back to soccer until like the 24th, 25th of July. So we're in a period where they can get a little bit of downtime. The
field looks great right now.
They can do some maintenance on the field. Yeah, and you would not think that soccer's played on it. However, when you get down on it, you can tell. You can tell the fields it takes its toll, and these temperatures we're having now though allow for some good growth, good grass growth.
Yep, no doubt about it. Oh man, what else? What else you got going on?
I'm looking forward to Saturday. I really am. Looking forward to Saturday. First 1,000 fans out here at 5 p.m. That's when the gates open. We'll get a Bob Gibson bobblehead. It's a replica of Bob statue that we are so lucky to have here at Werner Park, and we'll be playing Omaha Rockets jerseys.
Great jerseys.
It's just I don't know, just an awesome night. And if you didn't make it last year, the Marsh Project, which is out of Iowa.
Oh, yes,
they're going to be unveiling a new Satchel Paige autographed item and a number of other items, and they'll be just behind the Prairie Flower Casino Club. And last year they had 2 tables. This year he's got 3 or 4 tables of stuff coming. So I'm really, really excited about, Negro League's tribute to the Omaha Rockets, Bob Gibson bobbleheads, playing as the Rockets. It's a night to come out and have fun, and it's a 6 o'clock game. So, you'll probably be home by 7 o'clock that night as fast as the game. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but all kidding aside, it's a 6:05 game. So it's a great time. Come out, grab a cheeseburger like Josh wants today, and
nice.
Grab an L Storm beer, and and get a bobblehead. Be one of the first 1,000 fans here, courtesy of Sarpy County Sports Commission.
Obviously, people love the bobblehead and the free stuff. People love diving in. Baseball fans love diving into the history of stuff too. So to have people like that, I think they were maybe set up in there last year too, and there was another group in there. Super cool to learn. You had to do this when you got here, kind of learn about the history of the team and where it's going and where it's been and all of that stuff. It's been cool. Jack McKeon was out here this year to honor kind of those teams and him, one of the early managers of the Omaha Royals. It's baseball fans in history. It's a handshake, so it makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, it is, and and with our partnership with PayPal, it allows us to bring in things like that because I do believe the history. I do believe the teams of the past, the players of the past, and I'm curious to visit with the curators of the display as well about the stats now, and with the Negro League stats being added to the big leagues, and what exactly are the stats that maybe you're a little bit of a stretch versus some that are a little bit more legitimized, because there are some apples to apples, but there are some apples to oranges as well. So I'm anxious to ask someone who's a Negro League authoritarian, if you will. It's not quite Bob Kendrick, but
I was going to say that guy. So I assume that you've talked with him many times.
We have, yeah. I've been fortunate to tour the museum 3 times, and in 2012. This area right behind you and Josh, we actually, at that time, they had a different traveling exhibit.
Oh, cool.
So we actually had their traveling exhibit that was basically from section 113 over here to 115. It was large, and we did that in partnership with Werner Enterprises. They brought that up from Kansas City. And we've talked about bringing another display up, but they don't quite have one that's as large as that. So, But look, Bob's awesome. The Negro Leagues Museum in Kansas City obviously is
one of the best.
It's a treasure, and if you haven't been and you're a baseball fan, you're missing out. And if you have time, the Jazz Museum, right next door is great as well.
The stories, man, they're so good. That's what it's all about. I'm glad the stats, you have that now to kind of bring some color to it, but it's really the story. So that's kind of what that's what Bob's all about. If you get a chance to talk with him, he'll tell you about, Josh Gibson would probably have hit 850 home runs in the major leagues or something like that, which is I love it. I love that. It's part of the thing that makes baseball cool.
It is.
Marty, thanks.
Hey,
Thanks
appreciate
for stopping
you guys
by.
being here. Appreciate you guys doing what you do every day for 4 hours for local sports, state sports. It will be football season soon.
Yes,
I'm excited. I'm excited about both college and NFL season. But again, a lot of baseball to be played. It was a great College World Series this year. Nebraska had a nice run. There's a lot happening, and I'm really glad that you guys are on at 10 because you're able to bring up the morning. Because the morning's tough to listen to sometimes, and Gary Sharp's here. He's joining us.
Look at his weird sunglasses.
Yeah. He must be official scoring today. So we'll see if we get another weird double play like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, don't mess anything up. You don't want to hurt anybody's batting average and errors where they're not supposed to be had, things like that. You can only do so much, Gary says, which is definitely what you want to hear from the official score of the game. All right, so you're going to drop by and keep Josh company? Or?
I will.
Okay.
I'm going to bring you guys some snackies and keep Josh company. Maybe Josh and I will get into some music talk here in a little bit, or movies, or I don't know.
Josh loves talking about movies, that's for sure.
Do you watch The Boys?
I am on season 2.
He's on season 2.
Okay.
There you go. You guys could do a whole segment about that if you want.
Wow, that's all I'll say.
All right, that's Marty Cordero. Thanks, Marty. Thanks for stopping by as always. And we'll be talking to you many times on the show as we all get into selfie right now. Let's go. Yes, perfect. That's Marty Cordero, the president of the Omaha Storm Chasers and of Union Omaha. We are an hour away from first pitch here at Werner Park. Toledo and Omaha getting ready to go for the second of 6 this week here at the ballpark. Mitch Sherman's coming up in about 30 minutes. Like I said, I'll be in and out. The tweet bag's coming up as well. We'll take a quick break. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you live from Werner Park, where there will be baseball in less than an hour. Nate Rohr will be ripping it on the PA today. They'll be like, it's third down, except for he'll hold it a lot longer. Also, this is a baseball game.
I mean, he still could.
I think that'd be really funny if he did that.
That'd be hilarious. I'm here for the bit.
Especially on Senior Bingo Day.
Where'd you take me?
Third down. I gotta. Maybe we'll run upstairs during the break and we'll tell Nate to rip off a third down for us today.
Yeah, even if it's before the gates open here, which should be shortly.
The gates are indeed open.
Oh, they
Josh.
are open.
They are indeed open.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's why I saw a guy wearing a Braves jersey and this guy wearing a Velasquez jersey.
I can't see those people because of the chairs, but I believe you. Oh, yeah, there you go.
We are amongst the people today.
That's right. That's what we do. That's who we are. I was looking up Spencer Torkelson's college stats. So in 2019, I believe he became the number one pick in 2020.
Does it count, though?
No, nothing counted in 2020. 23 home runs, 66 RBIs for Arizona State, and hit 351 that year. Also is the owner of one of the longest home runs in Haymarket Park history. That, I believe, would have been in 2018, the year before that. Oh, no, maybe that was in 2019. Either way, he does indeed own that, and he'll be playing back in Omaha today. Speaking of Nebraska baseball, number one, we had Cade Povich on earlier, so go back and listen to that interview at 1620thezone.com. Number two, how about this, young Josh?
Oh.
Nebraska will be one of four teams to take part in the 2025 Frisco College Baseball Classic.
Frisco.
From February 28th to March 2nd. So that's the third weekend of the year, I assume.
I assume this is Texas.
This is Frisco, Texas, not in the mountains.
Not San Francisco.
Not San Francisco and not in Colorado.
Okay.
It is in Texas. It's a pretty prestigious college baseball tournament. It's not quite the Maui, but it's like it's better than whatever Nebraska basketball does in South Dakota every year. So it's like there's an in between there. Nebraska will be taking part in a field that consists of Nebraska, Kansas State, Sam Houston, and LSU.
Hello.
LSU.
Whoa.
According to, now I don't have a bracket yet, so I don't know if they've set matchups at the moment. But I assume that everybody plays everybody.
Sure.
And so Nebraska will play each of those three teams, which means they will get a game against the nation's preeminent baseball program. I'm sure Tony Vitello would have something to say about that. But for all intents and purposes, that's kind of the team.
Yeah, even if it's one of those everybody gets two games things, you got a good shot of playing LSU. Sam Houston is they're coming on in some sports. So
Sam Houston, I believe they're in the WAC.
We do this every time.
Is Sam Houston in the WAC?
Every time this comes up, can you name teams in the WAC? No, I can't name teams in the WAC. Only Michael Brunts can.
All right, let's see what's going on in WAC baseball. 2024 WAC baseball standings. It does not appear that Sam Houston is in that conference anymore, but that is Grand Canyon's conference.
American Conference?
Abilene Christian, Utah Valley, California Baptist, Tarleton, UT Arlington, UTRGV, Sacramento State, Utah Tech, Seattle U, Stephen Bleepin Austin. That's the WAC.
CUSA. They're in the CUSA.
Oh, congratulations. Moving on up.
Conference USA, of course.
Of course, indeed. Hookiesker says Sam Houston carved us 2 years ago. They're known for pitching. Hookiesker also says got to go at least 2-1 that weekend. Need it.
Already must win.
We need it. They need it really bad that weekend. Got to go 2-1. Got to go 2-1.
I mean, yeah, that's probably the goal, but
no, you have to. I mean, if you don't, it's over. Well, but okay, I'm being facetious a little bit, but if you're a Big Ten team, the Big Ten's not going to help you. Non-conference matters.
Yeah,
beating a top probably 15 or 20 RPI team is very, very important in the early portion of the season.
If you could get a win against...
That's what they did this year. That's why Nebraska was a tournament lock basically all year long, because they had a halfway decent non-conference, and really that all stemmed from the first weekend of the season. So Husker might be onto something. He might be right. Must wins.
If you can have that win against the Tigers in the back of your pocket,
go Tigers,
then that's definitely something that you can build on as the season progresses.
Good take. Good take.
Thank you.
Let's head to the 42 Degrees of Source hotline.
Oh.
Josh, that's where our dear friend Random Mike is.
Oh.
Random Mike, great to hear from you. What's going on?
I tried to call you guys yesterday a couple times, and what was the deal? It was impossible to get.
Oh, yeah. No, our phone sucked.
That phone ain't working.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I don't know why it does work today, but
we tell people and they come in there and fix it, and it works fine. So,
and I didn't expect to be able to get through today with you guys being at the ballpark. Look, your guest, first of all, Cade Povich, what a nice guy.
Yeah, incredible dude, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he's just taking it all in stride, too.
And Marty Cordero, a very special individual, there's no doubt about it. But is Cade related to Maury Povich? There aren't that many Poviches around.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but I haven't really thought about it.
I know we all know who Maury Povich's wife
are not
is.
The father.
So I'm going to guess that no, Cade Povich is not related to Maury Povich and or Connie Chung.
Here's the thing. Maury Povich's dad was a famous sports writer. Did you guys know that? Shirley
Josh
Povich.
did.
I did.
For the Washington Post. So he would have, back then, covering the Orioles. So it would have really been something.
No kidding.
But, hey, I got a random word association. And Josh, when you mentioned yesterday having your wheat between your teeth or something like that.
Wheat between your teeth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said that.
It made me think of former Senator and Governor Bob Kerrey, who was a Navy SEAL, and a lot of times they had picked. I was told there was a picture of him with a knife between his teeth. This was a SEAL thing because they were the knife fighters. I mean, that was a big part of their training. And here's a random mind thinking of O.J. Simpson. You know what the hell O.J. Simpson had to do with Navy SEALs?
Not at all, Mike. I have no idea where you're going here.
It would have changed. It would have changed history because he made a TV movie playing a former SEAL. It was kind of like the 18th, and it was in post-production. It was called, the Frogman, and he had training, SEAL training, in how to use a knife. And they tried to get clips of that in the O.J. trial, but they weren't allowed to. But they could have got the SEAL that trained him, and he got really good with a knife. And had the jury known about that, probably would have changed history. So I'm just saying, Josh, this is a random mind. Josh talking about wheat in your teeth made me think of that. But here's some other word associations. Mel Tucker, Bobby Petrino, and Evan Cooper. You know, all had tremendous contracts that were kind of forfeited because of their behavior, which wasn't necessarily illegal.
Yes. Or maybe. Maybe, Mike. Maybe.
But are we going to find out? I mean, it seems
I don't
like an
think so.
overwhelming probability.
I don't think we're going to find out. I don't think anybody's going to say anything about anything. No.
Because Mel Tucker, do you know what he forfeited with his behavior? I mean, it looks like he's going to stay that way. Like $100 million.
Oh, yeah. It was a lot. He signed a huge contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and remember Bobby Petrino when he was fired? I mean, he had one of the biggest contracts at the time.
Yeah.
And it was all that morality clause, which I guess is in all these contracts, and presumably Nebraska contracts too. Would you agree?
No doubt. You got to uphold the standards of the university and the football team and the whole thing.
Yeah, but is John Butler, is this a for sure thing? Because it seems like it's taken a while.
Sounds like it's just some minor contractual details that well, I don't even know about details. I think it's just like a matter of timing and stuff like that. So, yeah, I would imagine by the end of the week you still hear something.
Now, did you ask Povich about where he stands now? Because my guess is of all the Nebraska pitchers, he's sort of closest to being sent back. Did you guys get into that at all? Does he have like one more start where if he's got to do pretty good?
Yeah, I didn't. I could have I don't know. I don't know what the right way to approach that would have been. Just like, do you think you're going to get sent back down? That's obviously not it. But
Are you scared?
So I mostly went with the idea of like, hey, you're a big leaguer. Do you feel like a big leaguer? So we'll see, if it sticks. But I don't know. I think if you're a guy like that, you're kind of always on edge. You're taking every start as you can. You're probably, it might not stick forever, but you're hoping that it does, obviously.
Yeah, and if he's sent back, I don't think it's going to be for all that long. I mean, they really like him, and they love the other Nebraska guys. This is what I'm really impressed with. Josh, in Atlanta, they really like our guy Schwelle.
They do.
Yeah, they
love Schwelle.
Willing to ride him through the rough patches while he figured it out.
Love that. Love when guys figure it out,
That's
Mike.
Right. So it's a lot of fun. Hey, take care, guys.
Bye, Mike. Wow.
Do I need to start censoring the things I say?
Big random Mike overreaction starts right now. 402-951-1620. Please send us a text, comment on the YouTube. What do you got on that one?
I do think I remember hearing about the Frog Man because I want to say they broached that subject on the OJ Made in America doc.
Okay.
And
it would have been some great evidence if they were able to permit that.
Like, hey, we know this guy knows knives.
Yeah, like he's all about the knives.
He's a knife guy.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Yeah. Since we keep saying DNA and you're looking at us like we're idiots, maybe he's a knife guy. Well,
that just makes me want to go back and listen to Stephen A's take about how he could have done a better job than Marcia Clark. They botched it. This was like 3 years ago he did this take too. It wasn't in like 1997. It was like recently.
I'm gonna do a look at the camera thing here. ESPN, Walt Disney, look at me. Pay that man whatever he wants. I don't care.
One of the goats.
It's worth it.
One of the true goats among us. I love it. By the way, we're at Werner Park. Mitch Sherman's going to join us here in about 10 minutes. Tweetback's coming up at noon, so get your questions, and we got a few that are coming in. Send them to Josh as well, Josh O at 1620thezone.com, because if they come to me and Josh, and I'm gone, Josh doesn't have access to the email, and it just kind of happens. Also, I don't know if you noticed, Josh, they're playing my favorite song of all time.
All night long.
Thank you. I request this to the people who run the music every single game, and it gets played about, I don't know, probably 60 to 70% of the time, which is nice.
That's a good hit rate.
Now, I would imagine that our guy Peterman is running the music today.
Oh, big shout out to Peterman.
And shout out to Peterman up top.
We had a crisis at the building this morning, and Peterman was very helpful.
Wait, so Peterman helped you at the building and is here running the music at Werner Park?
That's right.
Holy smokes. Mm-hmm. We love Peterman.
He's a good man.
And he's ripping Lionel Richie right now.
That's right.
I love it. And it just abruptly cut off for a video about Bally's.
Bally's.
Of course. Let's see. Here's a tweet. Cade Povich is my best friend's cousin. Same last name. There are a bunch of Poviches in South Omaha. Everyone from Cade to Katie, Tim to Steve to Clint. One of the nicest, best families in Omaha. Great people. Lots of Poviches. But is Maury one of them? No. That's what we couldn't quite get to the bottom of.
I'm 99% sure. Why would he be in Nebraska if his...
Definitely Maury Povich is not related to Cade. We should have asked him, though. Random Mike, you got to call in before we talk to Cade Povich so you could give us all your questions.
You get what
Hey, Cade, do you think you're going to get sent back down to AAA? Hey, Cade, are you related to Maury Povich?
Maury Povich?
Yeah.
Is your mother Connie Chung?
Incredible stuff. So we are indeed here at Werner Park. We'll have baseball in about 40 minutes. What are you laughing at?
I would like to nominate that for a random Mike Hall of Fame phone call.
Yeah, pretty good.
That was
one of the most random that we've ever had. That's for sure.
That's why everybody asks, I don't know if you guys should talk to Random Mike. That's why we talk to Random Mike. That call. Right there.
Baseball in about 40 minutes. I will have to hop on the old microphone here in about 10, maybe less than. Mitch Sherman's coming up in a few minutes. I did want to mention this, though. Have you heard that we have a new college football expert?
No, I have not. I've not seen nor heard about this.
Well, what if I told you Katy Perry is the new college football expert?
Oh, that's not new. Remember when she was on College Game Day that one time?
Well, oh yeah, that's true. Okay. All right. So maybe it's not new. Maybe she just loves college football.
She knows ball.
Last night on Twitter, she wrote this. Sleep tight for tomorrow the portal opens. And then it's a picture of herself as a mermaid going through a portal. We've talked about mermaids on the show a lot the last couple days as well. Sleep tight for tomorrow the portal opens. Now, what does she know? What is she teasing? And which major college football coach is getting fired today, leading the portal to open for those players?
July 10th, terrible day to fire your head football coach.
Do you think someone gets fired in the next 2 weeks? Because if we're going off of history, or I shouldn't say 2 weeks, I should say by the end of the month.
Okay.
Before August, before camp starts, because nobody's getting fired during camp.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say that either. But like, we got 3+ weeks here for some sort of major scandal to unfold.
A la
Will it
Pat
happen?
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
There's been some other ones in July.
Will it happen?
I would love to believe in humanity and say no, Connor. It won't, but I also read a lot of news and know that humanity ain't great.
Notably, I did the segment last week where I talked about how great college football is right now, or not great college football is. I said, maybe it's not so bad after all. Do you remember this segment?
I do.
I said, maybe it's not so bad. And this was part of it. We've had a quiet offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Bang, Evan Cooper thing happens, and you're like, that's a little worse, but we can go ahead and stroll right by it. Now, what happens if some sort of bombshell hits the college football world in the next 3 weeks? I'm hoping it doesn't happen. But I am interested in what Katy Perry is teasing, because I don't think it's her album or anything like that. I would assume that it's college football news.
Albums do not drop in the middle of the week. They drop on Fridays.
No.
New Music Friday, as Nick Grimm will tell you.
Oh, yeah. He'll be all over that on Friday if it is indeed an album. Mm-hmm. But if it's college football news, Nick won't care.
Didn't she just put out an album?
No idea. No idea what Katy Perry's been up to. Although I do like Teenage Dream.
She left American Idol.
She did?
Yes.
She left Lionel Richie?
That's right.
Very sad.
Who would dare?
Who would dare? Topic alert, Josh.
Hashtag topic alert.
Quickly before we take a break, the EA Sports, the stupid video game, has they've told us who their top-rated quarterbacks are on the game. Now, if you could take one wild guess, who might be the best quarterback on the stupid video game?
I'm predicting that Shedeur Sanders is the first ever quarterback rated 100 overall.
Interesting. He is indeed the best quarterback on the game. He's actually tied with one other in an overall rating. 93 overall 93. For Shedeur.
Okay.
93. Carson Beck also 93. Your boy Quinn 92.
Quinn.
Dylan Gabriel 92. Jalen Milroe 90. Jackson Dart 90. Jalen Daniels 90. And Caden Salter, the quarterback at Liberty, 90. They're releasing all the top 100 players in college football. So they're doing this special thing where those top 100 players get sort of special animations, and they have different reactions to things based on, so they get special treatment on the game.
Okay, cool.
Those are the quarterbacks that are getting special treatment on the game this year. Shedeur Sanders, Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, Jalen Daniels, Caden Salter. I don't know if you noticed, but only one of those quarterbacks plays football in the Big Ten Conference, and 0 of them play in the regular Big Ten Conference, which doesn't include all those West Coast schools. There you go.
Also, Colorado's talking into microphones today, yes?
Oh, yes, they are. Great call, Josh. Can't wait to see what Mr. Sanders has to say. Mr. S, if you will. All right, we got to take a break because Mitch Sherman's coming up on the other side. Josh, you're going to have to talk to Mitch.
Okay.
Does that work?
Do you not, do you
have
talk
to go.
to him enough?
Yeah, I don't need any more Mitch. I have to be on the field performing in 4 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have to go.
Okay.
Well, I'll be back. Maybe I'll be back during the Mitch conversation, probably at some point. But
maybe you can get one question in and then jump out.
Yes, don't worry about it.
Don't even hear the answer.
No, I got to go right now.
Okay.
All right, quick timeout. We'll be back with Mitch Sherman on the other side from Werner Park on 1620 The Zone.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play, and we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy. Oh.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic, on The Connor Happer Show. On 1620, The Zone.
He can play.
Welcome back. We're here live at Werner Park where the name of our show, The Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone, is on the big screen. Connor is, I don't know, he's dancing on the dugout or something. Producer Josh Odson here with you. Joined now by Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. Mitch, welcome. How you doing?
I'm good, Josh. How are you?
Good. You know, I'm covering Connor's butt. This is the annual day every year where Connor does two jobs at once. He'll entertain the folks here at Werner Park with the dizzy bat race and the balloon pop and all that. And we're here in the concourse just doing the show. It's a wild day.
How's the game going?
Hasn't started yet. I mean, we're looking to see if Spencer Torkelson can reemerge in the nightmares of people who live in Nebraska.
Yes, the former Arizona State slugger. So he's out at Werner today. Man, I'm just a few miles away. I had to come out and see that show.
He is. You were here to watch Paul Skenes just a couple months ago, and now he might start the All-Star game.
Can you believe that? I mean, looked pretty good when I saw him in person, both this year and last year in Omaha. But, you know, I guess if you can throw 103 miles an hour and mix in a 92-mile-an-hour slider that drops like whatever it does, it doesn't really matter about your experience at the major league level. You're pretty much unhittable. So, and that from that standpoint, it's not surprising. So but I'm looking forward to seeing him pitch in the All-Star game, starting or not.
Yes, absolutely. You wrote a little bit about baseball. I see you wrote about the very controversial coaching change in the Southeastern Conference. Jim Schlossnagle leaving Texas A&M for rival and SEC newcomer Texas. What would be one of the more interesting things that you learned when creating that piece for The Athletic?
Yeah, so Sam Kahn, my coworker who's based out of Houston and covers Texas and Texas A&M, he's our Texpert, all things Texas. He worked on this with me, and you know, really, my reporting started in Omaha, and when we saw the exit stage left from Schloss after the championship game 2 weeks ago Monday night, I guess the brain started moving about putting a bow on this when all the dust settled and being able to take a look at what happened, why it happened, how it happened, what it means, and all of that. So not an easy task to try to sum all of that up in about 2,000 words, but we tried, and I actually waited until yesterday to talk to Schlossnagle himself, and he was kind enough to give me 20 minutes after all of this has gone down. He's now been installed at Texas for almost 2 weeks, or I believe it is 2 weeks today on Wednesday when he was introduced. And, you know, Texas A&M, of course, has found its coach who, interestingly, went to Texas with Schlossnagle for a few days before coming back to work for Trev Alberts. And, you know, Trev being a part of this, I think, is interesting to Nebraskans. So I'd encourage people to take a look. This is like the final chapter. The final chapter will be written when Texas and Texas A&M get together in SEC play next year or some other year. But it's one of the final chapters. I guess it's the last word on everything that happened here in the month of June and early July in this latest saga of the Texas A&M rivalry.
I want to talk about Huskers, and I don't want to reveal too much about the piece here, but because I want people to go and read it. But does he kind of get the sense of that he knows? Yeah, you know, I just kind of have to wear this for a little bit.
Schloss, I think so. I mean, he said that you know, he didn't underestimate anything as far as the impact that this was going to have, but even with that, it was above what he thought he might endure. And you know, nobody's feeling sorry for him, and he's not asking for that. You know, and his contract information has not been released by Texas. You might see that here this week. There's a certain grace period that they have to reveal that information after it's been publicly requested. But you know, I imagine he's going to be the highest paid coach in college baseball history, and maybe double or more his salary that was already $1.35 million at A&M. We'll see. Maybe I'm overestimating it. I don't think so. So right. I mean, if he went through some hard times because he decided to leave one school for the other on the day after the championship game, like some people would say, maybe that was well earned. You know, you asked me about like one takeaway from it, and I'll say this: he did give us a different timeline than what has been suggested by Texas in the past about when he started to talk with Chris Del Conte, the Texas athletic director about becoming the head coach at Texas. So I think that the time that was provided with our reporting after the whole thing went down was fortunate and allowed us to be able to get that from Schloss. It didn't happen the day that Texas A&M got back to College Station. We'll say that.
Mitch Sherman is with us of The Athletic, and I am back. Hi, Mitch.
Hey, a new voice out of the blue.
It is I. Mike Gundy. Thoughts? What a weirdo.
Good question.
Somebody may have listened to our podcast, Connor, this morning, the Locked On Nebraska podcast, where, of course, we're talking about Oklahoma State. But it is the open of college football conference media days, and Gundy stole the stage yesterday with his admission that he's gone and driven drunk 1,000 times. Whatever. It's like we're laughing, but it's not funny, but it is funny. And certainly don't advocate that you do that. Get an Uber, get a ride, whatever is needed. In today's world, you can do that very easily. His running back, Ollie Gordon, did not do that. And, he's 20 years old also, by the way. So the sticking up for Ollie rings a little hollow in that sense. But, this is Mike Gundy being Mike Gundy. I mean, it's been going on for a long time that he says things that other people really don't say. Maybe just keep it in on that one. As a member of the media, I like people to say whatever is on their mind, but keep that one in, just for the greater health of society. And, somebody messaged me after our pod went up this morning and said, in my world, that's a fireable offense. And I said, yeah, in a lot of people's world it is, but not in Mike Gundy's world. He's going to come just fine. Ollie Gordon is not getting punished for getting a DUI other than getting the ball 50 times against South Dakota State. This is what Gundy said yesterday in Vegas. Mike Gundy is also not getting punished for his admission that he's been drunk driving a car 1,000 times.
It's amazing. He is the least. I didn't expect to talk about the ins and outs of Mike Gundy today, but he is the least fireable coach in
Teflon Don.
Yeah.
Even though he says the most outlandish things, he does it 3 times a year. You could just set your calendar to it.
He is very unfireable, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around who else might live in his world of being able to really do what they want. I mean, there's a line for everyone. His line is just different. And I know Kirby Smart comes to mind, but I think he could probably say that. And I'm not making light of anything that's happened at Georgia because and look, Georgia's a great example. Don't drink and drive. People died last year. It's terrible. Get an Uber again. But I think Kirby Smart can walk the line in certain ways that other coaches can't. We saw Pat Fitzgerald can't do it. I would have put him on the list a year ago at this time, and look what happened.
I'm trying to imagine a world which is not a real world in which Matt Rhule slips up and says something in this ballpark and what our reaction is around here. And I don't know. It gets really ugly really fast.
We'd be talking about it for days. It would be hysteria, justified or not. And, I don't know that it would end well for him. And I'm curious now that you say that about what it's like in and around Stillwater in Oklahoma City today and in the state of Oklahoma. Are they still talking about this, or is it just that's Coach Gundy? They spent 10 minutes on it and then moved on. I honestly don't know. I think it might trend more toward the latter.
He also claimed, I believe yesterday, that he did not know who was going up against each other in the upcoming election. And I think there is a lot of information to tell us that is also not the case for Mike Gundy.
That is a false statement.
Mitch,
fake news, some would say.
Mitch, good to talk to you as always. We'll see you later.
All right, thanks, guys.
Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. From CJ on the YouTube, people forget Mike Gundy is a man.
That's right.
He was 40, but that was a long time ago. He's probably, I don't know, how old is Mike Gundy now? 56?
52? 3?
How old is Mike Gundy? 56.
Bang. Oh, nailed it.
Right on the mark.
Now, I also did not expect to have zero real questions about Nebraska football.
That's okay.
In our conversation with Mitch Sherman.
There's
today.
nothing going on, right?
Yeah.
An assistant coach wasn't just, didn't just abruptly resign, right?
No, there was no news dump.
We have many Husker guests on our show throughout the week to ask things too.
Yeah,
but not including Robin Washut today.
Right. Mitch wrote a piece for The Athletic about Jim Schlossnagle, big hashtag long read.
Oh,
and
so I was thinking that when I joined this conversation that you had already asked him about Evan Cooper. That's why.
I wanted to. We started by explaining what we were doing today, so I went baseball to baseball with the Schlossnagle question, and then I would end with the Husker stuff, which would keep the listeners listening longer because
is that how it works?
In my head.
I think that sounds right.
Okay.
I mean that logic is definitely there.
We got to bump that TSL up, buddy. How am I doing?
We're always working on that TSL. You get all the radio terms. Joel writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Joel.
At Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You have to drive drunk when your campus is in a town named Stillwater.
Okay.
I believe that's not actually the case. I still can't believe he said that. He said, I've driven drunk 1,000. I mean, and then he tried to walk it back later. So I guess Stuart Mandel pulled him aside afterwards and was like, hey, do you realize what you just did?
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize what you just said? And he was like, oh, no, I guess I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about, I've made a mistake 1,000 times. It's a simple mistake.
I've made mistakes before, not that mistake.
Definitely not that mistake.
I mean, I hate to judge a book by its cover, but I mean, look at that cover. It's driven its car home when it shouldn't have.
Let me just read you good one. Let me just read you the quote again, and you tell me if we misinterpreted anything. I like to read it in transcript too, so he doesn't, you don't get his voice.
Sure.
One thing that I can say in year 20 as a head coach that I probably wouldn't say in year 2 is everyone needs to look in the mirror and think, have I done that and not gotten caught? Have I had 2 or 3 beers and drove a car? Because 2 or 3 beers can put you over the legal limit. People need to put some thought into that and not throw stones through glass windows. Not that it's right. I want him to understand the seriousness as a parent, and I think he did. And then he said afterwards, my intended point today at Big 12 Media Days was that we were all guilty of making bad decisions. It wasn't a reference to anything specific.
There's absolutely a pivot point in that transcript you just read.
He said he could have easily been guilty of that 1,000 times and got lucky that it didn't turn into a serious situation. Now, what I would say is just don't probably say that. That would be my advice.
Yeah, maybe. Now follow me on this. I understand you're Mike Gundy. You're a Teflon Don. Maybe you and a communications person get together and say, hey,
he's like but he's the most unfireable person I've ever seen. I mean, it's
absolutely.
incredible.
But I mean, maybe the communications person goes, excuse me, Coach Gundy, this is going to come up. What are you going to say? And Mike Gundy probably said, I don't know, I'll just wing it.
All right. Well, I got to get back downstairs again.
Okay.
Where's our community organization of the day is coming up?
You're going to miss the odd news.
I am going to miss the odd news. But I'll be back probably by the time the odd news ends.
Okay, great.
All right.
I'll save the best for last.
Back for more of the Connor Happer Show next on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Connor Happer Show live at Werner Park today ahead of the Storm Chasers tussle with the Toledo Mud Hens. Connor is on the field. Producer Peter Krenzer is pointing a camera at him. So it's a real family affair here at Werner Park. We invite you to come on down and take in a little day baseball. First pitch set for, about 10, 15 minutes from now. So we're looking forward to a little baseball in front of us here. Can't miss us. We're behind section 114, right behind home plate. Come say hi. I see my wife and mother-in-law are approaching. So I will begin the odd news here, flying solo until Happer gets back. An Ohio man who with a hilarious name. Sorry, I'm working with a laptop I don't normally work with. Matthew Pancake is his name. Oh, look at that. Nice hat, bud. Come on down. Sit here. Sit here. See, we're out amongst the people today. And hey, how you doing, bud? Good? Okay. I'm telling everybody a story about a man named Matthew Pancake. His name is Pancake. Isn't that silly? What? I'm hungry. You're hungry now? Okay. My son is right next to me here. Yeah, bud. Snow cones here? I bet you can find a snow cone. Definitely can find this man a snow cone. But nevertheless, we move on. Matthew Pancake, 31 years young, was arrested for breaking and entering, a B&E as they call it, in Columbus, Ohio. But what he stole is rather unusual. He put 4 hamsters in his pocket. I want to stress that because I know what a lot of you are thinking is he did other things with the hamster. He did not do those things. He put them in his pocket. In fact, his leopard print pajamas, to be exact. And he was found shortly thereafter. And luckily, the police were very familiar with Matthew Pancake. He has a long rap sheet. He broke into the pet store, he took the hamsters, and then he went to a nearby Big Lots and fell asleep in the parking lot. And it was a lot easier to apprehend him at that moment in time. We head up the East Coast. We head to New Jersey for story number 2. And the New Jersey Mega Millions. March 26th, a winning ticket was sold in Neptune, New Jersey for a Powerball drawing, a Mega Millions drawing, excuse me. I get the two confused. They're interchangeable. $1.13 billion, billion with a B. A winning ticket was sold for over $1 billion on March 26th. New Jersey lottery officials have come out and said, hey, if you want that $1 billion, you need to claim it. The clock is ticking on that, and you're almost out of time. So people in New Jersey are scrambling, digging through trash cans, their wallets, their dresser drawers, anywhere they might have placed a winning Mega Millions ticket for over $1 billion. You got to be kicking yourself. That's probably causing some fights of, honey, I know the ticket was here. I know I put it here. I always put it here. And, the infighting that follows from there. So I don't know if you're listening to the show and you're from New Jersey or you live in New Jersey and you play the lotto, now might be the time to dig through your old tickets. But lastly, we end with a massive scandal in competitive eating. Nick Wary, he is a competitive eater. He is also the husband of Miki Sudo, the just dominant women's competitive eater. She's won the women's edition of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest for, I don't know, it's like 12 years or something like that, like 10 of the last 12 years or something. But Nick Wary here, He finished 4th in this year's contest, eating 46 3/4 hot dogs at the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest at Coney Island. But after a recount, his total was changed to 51 3/4. And many are wondering where the miscalculations can come from. The competition calculates final scores based on the number of clean plates in each contestant's area after the 10-minute event. Each empty plate equals 5 hot dogs, and any scraps are left up to the judges to tabulate. The New York Post, citing 2 anonymous sources, claims at some point following the end of the contest, Wary wandered around the stage and snagged someone else's empty plate and put it in his own pile, and then told the judges to recount what he had eaten. So there's a massive scandal again at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Connor, big scandal at the hot dog eating contest.
Really? What happened?
The guy who finished 4th is married to the female champion. And
Mickey Sudo?
Yes. And how they calculate the hot dogs is they just count empty plates. Each empty plate equals 5 hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
He had empty plates, and allegedly, New York Post cites 2 anonymous sources. He grabbed someone else's empty plate, put it in his pile, and told the judges to recount.
Wow.
Yeah. Big scandal.
That's a huge controversy.
On Coney Island.
I'm afraid that the hot dog eating contest has gone to hell in a handbasket.
Who's running that thing?
We're going to have to ask George some tougher questions next year.
We might have to have George on after the hot dog. We don't normally have him on after the hot dog eating contest.
It's a bit problematic at this point.
Yeah.
I hope Joey can get back in the game, you know?
He would really save the sport.
I hope they're able to work. Now, I will say this. I had a little bit of Joey Chestnut fatigue. I was sick of watching him eating 68 hot dogs, not setting a record, winning by 50 every time. So maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. We'll see what happens.
George was absolutely right when he told us that this is a better TV product now. It's a closer competition.
I'll say this, too. I did enjoy the clip I saw the weekend of that guy who drank all that lemonade and puked all over the place. Did you see that?
I did, yes.
So Badlands Booker, who's one of my favorite competitive eaters of all time, probably my favorite competitive eater of all time, his
top 5 competitive eaters.
The thing he does the best, apparently, is chug large amounts of lemonade. And so he was, going to win this contest. The guy right next to him on the stage starts ripping this giant jug of lemonade and then just barfs it in 3 separate waves. And so the first row on the in front of the table there, you're in the splash zone, man. I'm telling you what, I don't want to sit there. We get an appearance from young Josh.
Yes, my child is here and he wants a snow cone.
That's funny.
We'll get him a snow cone. Maybe we'll take the price tags off his hat as well because he's an adult.
Yeah, you're an adult.
Yes.
Where are the snow cones selling? Great question.
Looks like this red and white tent over here has snow cones, bud.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Not at the lemonade one, but maybe a little further down the line there.
Yeah, we'll get you a snow cone.
Oh, we'll get you a snow cone.
It's
for
baseball.
Sure.
There's snow cones aplenty.
Matt writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Matt.
Need instant replay in hot dog contest? ?
Oh.
I say no.
Okay, no replay for Connor.
I forgot I had my second earpiece in.
That was probably weird.
Yeah, that was weird. I thought I had a producer in there. I was like, well, I don't think we have the capabilities to do that. All right, we're here at Werner Park. Baseball is just a couple of minutes away. So I want to do this. We might have to take this another few more minutes because the national anthem, I don't want to be on air during the national anthem.
Right, good call.
All right, so we're going to have to hold for 5 more minutes
We
here.
can just talk. Would you like a recap of the odd news?
Well, give it to me in just quick bullet points.
No one in New Jersey has claimed the $1.1 billion Mega Millions ticket, and this is the final week for them to do so.
Wow. And then it just goes back in?
Yeah, just nobody gets it.
Yikes.
And then a man named Matthew Pancake stole 4 hamsters from a pet store.
A man named Matthew Pancake stole 4 hamsters from a pet store.
And then fell asleep at the Big Lots next door in the parking lot.
And then fell asleep at the Big Lots next door in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Oh, I got one for you, Josh.
Okay.
Those are two very intriguing odd news stories, by the way. Did you happen to see what I tweeted out this morning? The clip from the Rewatchables podcast.
I saw that you tweeted it. I have not seen it. I have not heard it.
You
I have
should
not
give that a
watched it.
listen. You should give that a listen, just whenever you'd like.
Okay.
I don't feel like it gained enough traction because, once again, I had a take where I am ostracized. I'm the crazy person, right? I'm the crazy person because I like to eat a whole bunch of different foods.
That's right.
I'm the crazy person because I, in my head, put Jurassic Park and Twister in the same category of movies. And that is so insane that I have to be yelled at every time. That's such a bad take, Happer. And yet there are movie experts who talk about movies on podcasts and have watched so many movies that are saying the same as me. One, Chris Ryan, said it's the same DNA as Twister. They were talking about Twister. It's the same DNA as Jurassic Park.
Twister and Jurassic Park specifically.
Yes.
Not just Twister and movies of that ilk.
And
Wow.
so I'm sick of you guys yelling at me all the time about my bad takes when you don't either A, you don't yell at these guys for their bad takes, or B, I'm not the only I'm not on an island. Like we did the poll question yesterday. I'm not on an island by myself. So why do I just automatically get made fun of every time I say something that appears to be outlandish but is actually not outlandish at all?
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Yeah, I mean, they're comparing it more to superhero movies, but the point still stands that they compared Jurassic Park and Twister as being similar movies in nature where they are fighting a seemingly unbeatable evil force.
Which is exactly what I was saying. They go into the same place in my brain. Nothing more than that. They go into the same place in my brain. Now, Josh, you have been, I don't know if you've been a defender of my... Now, hold on, watch this. Let's see what they do right here. This is usually... Oh, nice, they did it. Okay, so quick story in the middle of the other thing. Dave Novarita, our pitching, our bench, I think it's our bench coach. What are they? He's one of our assistant coaches here for the Omaha Storm Chasers. Him and I have a thing every game where when he walks off the field after he's given the lineup, we give each other a fist bump and then we point up into the sky. I don't know. It's like a secret handshake.
Okay.
And so there's other people down there. You see Nina taking the photos there. She's a social media coordinator.
Okay.
And Skylar right here. They have both tried to encroach on my territory and get in on this fist bump action.
Oh, they want to be a part of something.
And so, exactly. I thought that it was just me, but maybe at this point it's
that
not.
was your special thing.
It was my special thing. Anyway, Twister and Jurassic Park are the same movies.
Same movie. The plot does thicken on that take.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't.
You don't have to agree with me. I'm not expecting you to just completely, crumble on this. Like, that's fine. But I'm just telling you, it's out there. I'm not the only person saying this.
Yeah, and I think maybe us and some people summarily dismissed you because you have not seen either of those movies, and nor would you.
You know that meme that says the worst person you know just made a great point or whatever it was? That's how I feel like you guys are with me. But it's weird. You guys like me, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think you like me.
Connor, you're my best friend.
But then all of a sudden when I have a take, you guys are like, no chance. What is that? What's the science behind that?
I do think it's odd. Everybody goes, oh, Connor has the worst food takes here. No.
Josh dips his chicken fingers in ketchup.
Josh Peterson
yes.
He's
a child.
It's not even exactly. It's not even that Josh Peterson has bad food takes. He has the same food takes as my child.
Exactly. Also, Charles, I don't hate buffalo wings. I just think buffalo sauce is too pervasive in society.
You got to get the take right on that one.
Thank you.
It's a nuanced take, and I understand we don't deal well with nuance in society.
Yeah. Also, I can't fly a 747.
Never said he could.
Never said I could. So we got to get those things straight. We are gearing up for the national anthem here at Werner Park. First pitch is coming up in just a mere moments. Before we do that, we're going to take a break. Remember, the tweet bag is coming up on the other side. Send a tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. We will open it up and see what's inside. next on the Connor Happer Show on Omaha's 1620 The Zone.
This is the Tweet Bag. You send your questions in, and we answer them. Like no other radio segment ever. It's the Tweet Bag on the Connor Happer Show.
That is correct. It is time for the Tweet Bag right ahead of first pitch this afternoon between the Storm Chasers and the Toledo Mud Hens. Baseball. By the way, if you want to hear the baseball game from like the real angle, I believe you could hear it on Coil, right?
Cannot. It's only the games in the evening. Are
great.
on Coil.
Keep listening to us.
That's right.
All right. I apologize.
Quick first out.
Nice job. Well, we're off and running. Time for me to complain about short baseball games again. Actually, today I wouldn't mind that much.
Rushed.
Shout out to the people over at the Storm Chasers who have delivered us some food. Josh got his request of a hamburger with nothing on it.
Cheese. I wanted cheese. I didn't want somebody to have to
dress it.
Yeah.
I got some mac and cheese bites.
Oh, mac and cheese bites.
I believe we had those a couple years ago when we were out here, or last year when we were out here. I decided to go back to Old Faithful. I didn't think it was a bad choice.
Go with what works.
I very much like them. It indeed is time for the tweet bag. Send us your tweets at Happer Show, the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, at Connor Happer there as well, at producer_Josh. You can email them in as well, because even if it's an email, it's still a tweet. You could also leave a comment on the YouTube stream, which we're live on. We look beautiful out in the bright sunlight here at Werner Park. I'll say this before we get going with it. I'll probably have to pop out before this segment ends, but it'll be close.
Okay.
It'll be close. So that's the next update. Oh, that would have been right to us.
Oh.
The stupid Nets. All right, time for me to rail against Nets now. I know they save people's lives, but I wanted a foul ball.
You do seem like a guy that would be anti-net.
I actually do. Speaking of people who seem like things,
right.
Josh Peterson's wife has tweeted into the show.
His wife.
She says, I'm not usually one to defend my husband's weird food takes, but I assure you Josh Peterson doesn't dip anything in ketchup. Please recant, Connor and Josh.
Wow.
So much for journalists reporting facts, SMH. And to that, I responded and I said, but it seems like he would. And that is the true essence of the problem. Does Josh Peterson seem like he would dip his chicken strips in ketchup? I would argue, yes, he does.
I mean, is that a poll question?
It sure sounds like it to me.
Okay. I will read the first tweet bag question and then type that up.
All right.
Whoa. Hey. No, that's not what I do, Rob. Matt tweets in, would you rather get $5 million right now or get 50% off everything you purchase for the rest of your life?
Oh, boy. The math here is just going to have a hard time coming together for me in this short period of time.
Right, like on the fly.
So on the fly, it feels like $5 million is the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like $5 million is the right answer. But if I pay 50% less
on my house,
than everybody
on my
for
car?
everything,
yeah,
like I'm infinitely more rich than I am right now. So, gosh, so I'm thinking. Yeah, like I'm thinking about the bills that I pay on a monthly basis and the things that the top of the first is over, by the way. Things that we have to kind of, I pay. We're talking about paying like $1.50 for gas right now. That sounds pretty sweet.
Yes.
I still kind of want the $5 million.
I think I'd take the $5 million.
I still kind of want
then
the $5 million.
I really wouldn't care what stuff cost. It's not enough to retire. Like I still have to work and all that, but I mean. I can live a little more comfortably for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You would. Yeah, but that's a problem, though. If you get so let's just play this out. You get the $5 million, and then all of a sudden you stop caring about how much stuff costs, and then you're out of the $5 million. In the other scenario, you have exactly how much money you have right now, but everything just costs half as much. Would that force you? Would that create a situation where mentally you felt like you were richer or you were the same amount of rich as you are? Because I believe it's the latter. I believe that I would actually end up saving the same amount of money.
I'm sure there are economists and financial people yelling at their radios going, no, take the 50% off. But I don't know, $5 million, $5 million bucks, man, $5 million bucks.
Okay, no, I changed my mind. 50% off of everything.
Okay.
50% off of everything. I could go to the car wash for a reasonable price now.
Still have to wait in line for 6 hours.
And it still is going to cost $10, but I'll go.
Even though there's a car wash on every corner now.
Just think if you had a 50% off coupon to everything.
You wouldn't complain about the price of stadium beers.
No.
Hey, there's Jake Ryan's parents.
Wow, celebrities are out today.
They are.
Yeah, I'm going. I changed my mind. I'm going with the 50%. That's my new answer. Thank you for the question, Matt. I appreciate it.
John No H emails in.
Hi, John No H.
Still a tweet. Connor has to work 2 jobs at the same time once a year. Sorry, I'm not impressed. Just last Friday and Monday, you, Josh, both produced and hosted the show named after Connor. Much more impressive.
That does not seem like a question, John.
I don't know. It's an email.
Does not seem like a question at all. Ooh, ball just went right over our head.
Oh,
and it's coming back down. It's going to come back down right this way.
Who's going to get it? No one knows.
There it is.
There it is.
Come
no
to
one.
us. Come
Go.
to us.
Go get
Come
it.
to us.
Oh, no one's claimed it yet.
Yeah, they got it.
Okay. It rolled. It rolled. I didn't
That
see it
would have
roll.
been awesome if we got a
What
foul
if?
ball. Holy smokes.
What were the odds?
All right, John. Here's the deal. I work hard. All right. Sometimes, you know.
No one's saying you don't work hard.
Maybe I make it look easier than some other people do. Maybe
I definitely let the people see the work Friday and Monday.
Well, your whole thing was like, hey, yeah, I'll work on the 5th of July, whatever, but you're going to hear about it.
You're going to hear about it. You're going to hear that I don't want to be here.
Which Josh wears it on his sleeve.
I do emote.
You emote. And sometimes, you got to be careful about who you're emoting toward. Or I don't think Josh has as much of a filter as I do in that category.
No, I don't. That has been my Achilles heel for decades now.
So this is not a competition about who works harder, who does more. It's it's about the way you handle things. That's all.
I'm just letting you know what the people are saying about you.
Thank you. Not a question, John.
Charles tweets in.
Hi, Charles.
When starting a new relationship, how many dates in should you wait before using a coupon?
Okay, so great question, first of all. Second of all, I have only started a new relationship I've basically only started a new relationship once in my life. And that will be the only time. So I'm not the greatest figure on this, not the most authoritative figure.
But just like your movie takes.
I would think, so in this game, like you have to do a little bit of profiling, right? You have to do a little bit of stereotyping.
Sure.
Are you dating the kind of person that would be wowed and appreciative of your couponage? Because there are people out there that exist. There are people like that exist. You don't have to not every person that is in the dating market, or not every woman, or not every man, whatever, feels like they need to be impressed or swept off their feet. Maybe they just want to have a nice time and do it on. If you're saving a dime, then it's better for you. Like we're all built a little bit differently. We're strung a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And so I think you got to read the room. That's the first thing. But ultimately, if you are a couponer, you're going to have a difficult time hiding who you are for very long. So why not just get out of the way, really early, like within the first 3, maybe on the third.
Okay. Now I'm not a couponer.
I'm not either.
And so in my dating persona or whatever, I would never.
You would never use a coupon at all.
I would never use a coupon.
Now,
if we're not married, I would never use a coupon.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't want her to know that, he needs to save money.
Is that the message that you're sending when you use a coupon?
That's how I would take it. I'm like, she needs to use a coupon?
See, I don't think that's the message that should be received when you use a coupon. I think it should be, this person is resourceful. They're maybe a little frugal, but they're resourceful. They're taking what they have at their fingertips and they're using it to their advantage. I like that. I think that's attractive.
Also, is it a good coupon or just like 10% off?
Okay. See, there's a difference there as well. Like I got I actually, at the Storm Chasers 4th of July game, everybody's walking out, and guess what? They're handing out free gift cards to a certain local car wash chain.
Hey now.
Guess what I did? I used it. What do you want me to do? Not use it? If I was on a date, would I still use it? If I was on a date, I probably wouldn't go to the car wash.
Right, that's a bad date.
That'd be a bad date. But I don't know. Maybe we got really muddy. Maybe we went out into the swamps and got the car real muddy, and then had to come back and get a car wash, and I had a coupon for it. Would that be so bad? I don't think it would be. Nick Prado just struck out.
Oh man. Breck tweets in,
hey Breck,
on our $5 million or 50%. He seems to be smart with money.
All right.
To make up the $5 million with the 50% off, you'd have to spend $10 million on goods and services. So if you won't spend at least $10 million the rest of your life, the instant $5 million is the better deal.
Are we? Does that math check out? Are we sure about that?
He delivered it with confidence.
Also, I can't imagine that I'd spend $10 million.
Seems like a lot.
It does. I've never even considered how much money I spend over a year. It's probably
really
disgusting.
You, Connor Happer, who wants to know how many chicken sandwiches you've eaten
Yeah,
in
I'd
your
love
lifetime.
to know.
Yeah,
I'd love to know. I desperately want to know the answer, but it's too hard to keep track of.
Well, is it as simple as your
bank statement,
your take home, and then what's in your bank?
I guess so. Theoretically, all the money goes into my bank. Sometimes I got cash for stuff.
Do you know how much is in your bank account right now, like the exact number?
No, the exact. I have a ballpark.
I have no clue.
I have a ballpark.
No clue.
But I just paid my bills yesterday.
I hand the card over and pray to God.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't. There's no praying going on, but I do have a pretty good idea of what's. Yeah, I get a ballpark.
I'm sure it's in there. But
I get a ballpark. Sometimes every once in a while I check to confirm.
Yeah.
That's probably twice a month.
I was going to say I'll check every 2 weeks, which would be twice a month.
Check to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Do we have
got some good texts?
Texts. I forgot about the texts.
Poll question up at Happer Show: is going to a car wash a bad date? And does Josh Peterson seem like a guy who dips his chicken tenders in ketchup?
All right. By the way, I got like one out until I got to go here. But here's Pedro.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. Josh did a great job when you were gone, Connor. Connor, on the show In Living Color, there was a family of Jamaicans who had like 10 jobs each. My question, Connor, is are you part Jamaican? How many jobs do you have? I'm not part Jamaican that I know of, and I have at least 5 jobs. 4 to 5, at least 4 to 5 jobs.
I've got 3 jobs at 1620 The Zone.
Does that count?
Yeah,
it should.
Iowa Western statistician. Sling some suds every now and then.
What? You sell beers?
Yeah, we'll at the concerts I'll just crack open a beer and hand it to people all day.
What?
Pretty sweet gig.
You are a beer vendor at concerts?
Yeah.
What?
Call some high school baseball from time to time. Hey,
hold on.
Nobody seems.
Where do you work? Where do you work when you sell beers at the concerts?
Jake tells me where to go and what to do.
Where's Jake? Is he here?
I don't think he is.
I did not know this about you.
Probably working.
I did not know this about you.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody has any follow-ups on that, I'd love to hear them.
It's not as glamorous a lifestyle as I pretend.
I just didn't know that it existed.
Well, I mean, someone's got to open those beers for people.
Someone does. I just didn't know it had to be you. Jasker Todd.
Hi, Jasker.
Dumber sports rule: fumbling out of the end zone resulting in a turnover, or the drop third strike.
Ooh, that's a good question.
The drop third strike is more nonsensical.
Yes,
it's less sensical.
Mm-hmm. I don't like the turnover rule in football, but
I'm fine with it.
I guess I understand it.
Yes, it makes sense.
Whereas the dropped third strike is, like you said, nonsensical.
It's nonsensical.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to catch any other pitch in order for it to be a strike.
Right. Why that one in particular?
Why that one in particular?
Hey, this is the
and
third
the whole
one.
First base is occupied thing, guys. I mean that part makes sense, but that one's a little bit more difficult to explain. So I don't know that it's dumber. I appreciate that it exists, I guess, but I don't really know why it exists. I'm sure there's a reason somewhere buried deep inside of there.
Usually is.
All right. Well, want a mac and cheese bite?
Yeah, I think I do.
Fire away.
Okay.
You can go, work for one of the beer vendors down the line too and sling some beers.
Those are my people.
Yeah, those are your people. Apparently, it's one of your many, many jobs.
What's the sauce?
This is something that we've uncovered today. It's like a, I don't know, kind of like an aioli. A little
chipotle mayo.
Chipotle mayo. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That'll eat.
By the way, what is technically an aioli?
Mayo.
It's just mayo.
Yeah.
They just say aioli.
Yeah.
Do you say aioli or aioli?
I say aioli.
Yeah, I think that's probably how it's supposed to go. All right. We got an out here, so I got to go.
Okay.
We're going to do some CHI trivia. Does that sound good?
Sounds great. You could watch it here at Werner Park. Thank you, Connor Happer.
Okay. We'll take a break. Come back. More up next on 1620 The Zone.
to Werner Park, Connor Happer Show. Connor Happer is on the field right now doing CHI Health Trivia. So it is me, producer Josh Odson, left to, do the radio. But that's kind of the bit. President C is here. Ladies and gentlemen, Marty Cordero. You know him, you love him. He just took one of Connor's mac and cheese bites. Those got a little kick to them, just a little hint in there. I like it. Thanks for those, by the way. Marty Cordero with us here. Middle of the second, 1-0 Mud Hens. Former Reaver, former Blue Jay Anthony Benboom just showed a little warning track power, but as we know, that does not a home run make. How you doing, Marty?
Those are actually pretty good.
Why can't I hear you, Marty? Did Connor turn his off? That was silly of him.
Is it head? Oh,
he doesn't need to do
we
that.
have headphones. Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't had a mac and cheese bite, so
Well, look at that. You're learning.
The fine folks from the media have to attend for me to be able to try the food here. Sometimes it's so busy. Welcome back.
Yeah. Now look at our Connor Happer on the field doing CHI Health Trivia, dancing on the dugout, which he must be on that dugout over there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's you put him behind a microphone, he can go, right? He's like the Energizer Bunny if he has a microphone.
That's when he shines, right then and there. So how are things? We talked about the baseball earlier. I guess I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I respect the sport. How's the Owls doing?
Soccer's going well. Team currently right now is in second place in the soccer table in USL League One. And we're at Greenville. They're in first place. We're 3 points behind them, but we have 2 games in hand. So if we can get a road victory, we'll be tied with them, but we'll still be 2 games in hand, which means, points per game, points per match, we'll be, pretty far ahead of them in a good spot. So big match at Greenville on the road, and Omaha fans can watch on ESPN Plus this weekend.
And yeah, you had to learn a bunch of those soccer terms that you just said.
Yeah. Pitch, match, table.
I knew table. I knew what you were talking about when you said table.
It's a locker room, not a clubhouse. I'm used to, in baseball, it's a clubhouse, and it's part of it. It's part of trying to be authentic. But
you were willing to do that. I imagine people in your position were like, "No, I'm a baseball guy. I don't do soccer."
I'm a good soldier.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way. We'll put it that way. But no, Gary Green, our owner, has really stepped up for this community, and soccer is obviously the second club that he's acquired here in town. Baseball, obviously, been here since 1969, and soccer was an expansion franchise. But no, it's good. We're at a great point in time, and we're excited for the rest of the season.
When's the next home match? Forgive my ignorance on this.
July 27th. So
Okay.
It's quite a while. Chattanooga will come in on Saturday, July 27th. So the grounds crew, they get a little bit of a break, with not flipping the field back and forth. So got a little bit of time, and then that kicks off a 3-game stretch. July 27th, and then whatever that next August 1st and August 3rd. Yeah, I think it's 1st, 3rd, or maybe it's July 31st. But
that sounded good. I don't mean to illegally disseminate, but we got a tie ball game here at Werner Park. Tyler Gentry goes yard. Excuse me. It sounded right off the bat.
Oh, you could tell. Not that we have a great view as long as the fans aren't in front of us, and there are fans in front of us. But I feel like we should be doing play-by-play. But it's great to see Tyler get a home run. He's prospect from Alabama. Been with the Royals for a while, and he was one of the Royals' top 10 prospects. And Baseball America just came out with their new rankings, and unfortunately, he fell out of their rankings. So it'd be good to see Tyler get that home run, and maybe he can get things going again because the Royals can use some outfield help.
And now Brian O'Keefe is up to bat, and he bears a striking resemblance to the person that is supposed to be sitting right next to me.
He does. Do you receive the Dispatch newsletter? Do you receive that each week from Jim Mingy?
No.
You should sign up. He has a doppelganger each week, and he puts different celebrities or different people up. We should submit Brian O'Keefe and Connor Happer to Jim's weekly The Dispatch, and The cool thing about Dispatch, it's got lots of concert information and entertainment. You would like that. You should go. It's a free newsletter each week, thedispatch.com.
And many people don't know this about you. You are quite the talented drummer, right?
Yeah, I don't know about talented, but I'm quite the drummer. I'll agree with that part.
You do it often and enjoy it.
I do enjoy it. It's kind of my relief, and it keeps me sane to what degree you can do that, and it probably helps my family a little bit too, for me to have a little bit of a stress relief.
Yeah, we all need that, and it's important. I want to go back to soccer. You talked about flipping the field. What does that entail for those guys?
So all the infield skin, we turf over that with Kentucky bluegrass, natural grass, and then the pitcher's mound actually retracts, so it disappears into the ground, and there's a tray system that we put on top, and then we put the natural turf there as well, and that happens back and forth each time.
And we had someone email the show. I know it's too late, but next time you see or talk to Marty, this was about half an hour ago. He didn't know you were coming back. He wants a YouTube video of the mound being prepped for soccer and vice versa. I know he said it takes some time, so maybe a time lapse of the mound coming in and out would be great
idea.
Too. Yeah.
We'll do it. We'll do it before July 27. I'll talk to our creative folks, so you just go follow Union Omaha on Twitter and social media, and we'll do it next time. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Connor here having some mac and cheese bites.
Is it Connor or is it Brian O'Keefe?
I don't know.
I don't know which. I don't know.
Who's to say? Now, what just got delivered here to us? Was this you? Did you do this?
I didn't do that. Have you already had your cheeseburger?
I did. I ate it during the break.
I don't know what that is.
Is this a duplicate order? That's a cheeseburger and fries. Oh,
I didn't order the second time. I don't know.
Oh no, I'll bet this is mac and cheese bites. More mac and cheese bites. My wife is down in 113. She loves mac and cheese bites. Yeah, I'll drop this
Happy
off
wife,
right
happy life. There
That's
you go.
right. That's my motto.
There you go.
Marty Cordero, what do you want to talk about?
I'm eating.
Okay.
The texture's pretty good. It's not tough like a lot of fried foods.
That's right.
Mac and cheese bites. People should try them.
That's right. Here at Werner Park, we're here. There's a baseball game going on right now. We're in the bottom of the second, 2 away, tie game.
You know, if you're out there listening, one thing I will say is Thrifty Thursday happens tomorrow night.
Okay.
Gates at 6 o'clock. First pitch at 7:05. And we have a limited number each Thursday of $3 McDonald's burn tickets. So $3.
$3.
So if you're interested in coming tomorrow night, the weather looks like it's going to be spectacular. Go online and get your tickets right now.
And while you're sitting in that berm, you'd be very close to the downdraft where there are many delicious brews.
And there will be $3 beers tomorrow night.
Hello.
$3 Pepsis, $3 hot dogs, $3 ice creams, and $3 tickets. So Thrifty Thursday, it's the second year in a row we've done this promotion, and we'll bring a lot of fans out tomorrow night that may not have been here before. But if you're out listening and you're looking for something to do tomorrow night that's affordable, great professional AAA baseball, this is your spot.
And you talked about the promotion going on Saturday. Friday is Christmas in July, right? Did I see that on the board correctly?
It is. Christmas in July, followed by Friday fireworks. I don't really know exactly what's in store for Christmas in July.
Wear your ugly sweater to the game.
Yeah.
As the Storm Chasers take the lead.
Creighton grad, Ryan Fitzgerald there.
Another home run. That's 3 home runs I've already seen, right? Toledo hit one?
Yeah, I think that is the second home run of this inning. So it's three home runs.
Yeah. So wear your ugly sweater to the park on Friday. Might be a little hot, but I mean, you want to celebrate the season, Christmas in July, and then fireworks afterwards.
Yeah, I have my Star Wars Christmas sweater T-shirt ready for Friday night.
Okay.
So that's my attire. It's short sleeve, not exactly cashmere. So I'm ready for the game. And anytime I can flaunt at Walkers on my shirt at the ballpark, I'm going to do it.
That's probably maybe twice a year you get to do that? Star Wars night and Christmas in July?
At the ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ballpark. Yeah. It's my nightly attire at home. But yeah, at the ballpark.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's take a break. We can eat more food. And when we come back, I believe Connor's ready, as it's 3-1 here at Werner Park, bottom of the second. We'll keep celebrating baseball, the sport we know and love, here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. I am Connor Happer. Josh Hodson here as well, live from Werner Park, where it's the Storm Chasers with a 3-1 lead over Toledo right now. Live baseball during the show. How about that? Also, Ryan Fitzgerald, former Creighton Blue Jay, is at a 2-run home run in this game to put the Chasers up 3-1. So there's a little hometown flair. Also, people are telling me that I look like Brian O'Keefe, the catcher for the Omaha Storm Chasers.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
Okay, that's good. Let's talk Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods.
This is a summer topic of all summer topics, everybody. Andy Staples yesterday, friend of the show, Andy Staples.
That's right. Doesn't return my emails, but when you ask.
Well, it's better to do it in person. Probably.
Absolutely.
Better
he's a busy guy. I get it.
He's a busy guy. He's doing takes all the time. And here's his latest take. CFB Blue Bloods via Andy Staples. And here's what he puts on the graphic. He's got some reasoning behind these things. And it's maybe more important to remember who's not a blue blood in this situation, specifically when we're talking about Nebraska. So let's just go first thing here. Gut instinct. Gut instinct. Blue bloods of college football. I don't even want to hear your definition yet.
No.
I just want to hear gut instinct, yes or no.
Okay.
And then we'll get into our definitions. Alabama.
Alabama, yes.
Blue blood.
Yes.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Oklahoma.
Yes.
Michigan.
Yes.
I'm less sure about that one.
Ooh.
Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm less sure about that one.
You're less sure than Michigan?
I am less sure about Georgia than the first three. Same as Michigan.
Okay.
Same as Michigan. Notre Dame.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Texas.
Sure.
Yes. USC. Yes.
Yeah.
Penn State.
I would say no.
Yeah, I'm kind of out on that. I'm kind of out on that as well. And then his contenders are Florida State, LSU, Clemson, Nebraska, Miami, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee, and Oregon. This is via
Penn State should definitely be with those teams.
Andy Staples. Okay, so here's the first thing that we learned. There's not that many of them. There's really not that many of them in the college football universe. And like you have to win a national title. And that's what he writes for Oregon. You know, they were in the under contention category, contention category.
Ducks Nation was very angry with this.
And he wrote, just win a national title. If you win one single national title, you're a blue blood.
Okay.
And so we have this thing that is developed now. College football is different now than it was 20 years ago, and it's changed. And so there is such a term as maybe new bloods, or maybe I'm making that up right there, but like new blue bloods, right? So Oregon would go into that category. Obviously, the SEC's dominance. Alabama was a blue blood before they ripped off a bunch of national championships with Saban.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia is this kind of emerging one. They have always been a big power in college football, but just because you're a power doesn't mean you are a blue blood. I did this research a couple years ago, and I want to see if I can find it here right now. I didn't have time to pull it up before the show. But in essence, it was my definition of blue bloods was schools, football programs who have won national championships under multiple coaches.
Okay.
I think that is a huge factor because it doesn't there's a lot of schools that are in a debate like this that only get put in because they ripped off 3 national championships in 5 years, or they ripped off they had a dominant stretch where they won 5 national championships in 10 years or whatever it is. But it was all under one coach, and then the program kind of deflated back into nothing. And so if you give me a second, I could try and pull that up. But Nebraska, obviously, is one of the programs who have won multiple national championships under multiple coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that requires a lot of national championships. And I think that's my next point. It ain't just one.
No.
You can't just win one.
Yeah.
Like Auburn, that's a historically relevant program, but it's a program that's more so known not for its dominant staying power, but for its random appearances in national championship games.
Yes, it's ebbs and flows, if you will. I think they're definitely on the outside looking in. Georgia's one of those new bloods, as you called them. I kind of like that name.
New bloods.
Michigan, they just won a title. But then what have you done for me lately as I'm about to sneeze? No, maybe I lost it. Okay.
Ooh. So
No,
here,
I lost it.
Here are, and I updated this. I did this list in 2020, and I don't think anything. I don't think anything has changed. I guess Michigan.
The Michigan winning one would have
maybe added them to this. Yeah, they won a national championship under multiple coaches. Michigan would have won their second national championship, so they might be added to this conversation.
That was always the knock on Michigan is, well, you haven't won a national title since the war.
Well, they split one in '97. People forget.
That
does count.
It doesn't count.
If it counts for Nebraska, it counts for Michigan.
Well, no, Nebraska won the real national championship.
Nebraska was definitely better than Michigan that year, but unfortunately, the polls worked how the polls worked, and that's what we got. So this is updated in 2020. Here are the schools that have won single point blank national championships under multiple coaches.
Okay.
So if you do it by this metric, Miami is actually the bluest of the blue blood.
Okay.
Because they've won 5 national championships under 4 coaches.
Torque bomb.
Was it a torque bomb?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Right center, Apotaco?
Yeah.
Wow, tie ball game.
Right by the 42.
So Miami won a national championship under Howard Schnellenberger, won a national championship under Jimmy Johnson, won 2 national championships under Dennis Erickson, and won a national championship under Larry Coker. Now, none of those guys are really considered like top 5 all-time coaches.
Right. But that's many coaches.
But that's kind of the definition of the program. It's not necessarily about the coach. It's about the program.
Mm-hmm.
And so Miami is kind of like the bluest of the blue blood, one of the bluest of the blue bloods. Notre Dame won a national championship under 3 coaches, 3 from Eric Parseghian, 1 from Dan Devine, and 1 from Lou Holtz, your favorite guy. So they are an absolute blue blood. Saban in Alabama, obviously you have Bear Bryant and Gene Stallings won a national championship. Saban won 7?
People forget about Gene Stallings.
Gene Stallings won the 1, and Bear Bryant won 6. So they are the bluest of the blue blood. LSU is an interesting case. LSU has won national championships under 3 coaches.
Yeah,
those coaches are Nick Saban, Les Miles, and Ed Orgeron. Once again, not the historical strength of the coaches that matters here. I think that tells you that they are capable of doing this over multiple eras and things like that.
Building it up, and it goes apart, it goes away, it gets built back up.
Exactly. Nebraska has won all 5 of its national championships under 2 coaches, Bob Devaney and Tom Osborne. USC's won national championships under 3 coaches, Pete Carroll, John McKay, and John Robinson. Texas has won national championships under 2, DKR and Mac Brown. Florida State's won national championships under 2 coaches. One of them was Jimbo Fisher. People forget. The other one was Bobby Bowden. Ohio State, no doubt. Blue. Woody Hayes, Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, each won national championships. Clemson won national championships under 2 coaches. Clemson is an interesting case because they're almost a new blood, considering all their success over the last decade. But they also won a national championship kind of randomly in 1981 under Danny Ford. And so they are a bit of an interesting case.
If it's a data thing, they're probably a blue blood, but if it's a vibe thing, probably a new blood.
I think so. They vibe a little bit more like a new blood. So all this is to say this.
Because just real quick on that, if Dabo said, you know what, I don't need this anymore, I'm quitting and walking away, do you think it would stay built or fall apart?
I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether Dabo is a hindrance or a positive.
I guess the portal would open up and they might get better.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it would work better.
Interesting question I've posed.
It really is. Is Dabo Swinney good? Didn't think that was a question we'd be asking here, but there we are. So the point is this, and I love the topic. Once again, thank you, Andy Staples.
Thank you, Andy.
This is classic summer stuff here.
Way to do your job.
Here are teams that you did not hear on my list of blue bloods that I made based on what I thought was a good exemplary criteria for the test. You definitely did not hear Oregon. 0
Nope.
national championships
Nope.
under 0 coaches. You didn't hear Tennessee.
No,
You didn't hear Tennessee. You didn't hear Auburn.
Nope.
You didn't. You did. Well, you could. I didn't list them, but they're on here. Florida. Is Florida a blue blood? I think Florida's kind of a blue blood. Florida's won national championships under 2 coaches. They had a long stretch of dominance in the early 2000s under Urban Meyer. And they were, really good in the 90s as well. Played for a national championship, won a national championship in 96. And so I think they are, throughout their history, they've been consistently good. How long are your droughts? Florida's aren't that long. Ohio State's aren't that long. Nebraska is, in the grand scheme of history, really, nice catch.
Yeah.
Nebraska's in the grand scheme of history have not really been that long. It's just been the last 10 years that have been really bad. Other than that, if you go up to like 2014, post winning their last national championship in 1997, it's actually not that bad because they're winning 9-10 games.
Always decent, always relevant.
Basically every year. It's just the last 10 years. So never say this, of course, but if this is indeed the lowest point of Nebraska football,
Connor,
if it is indeed the lowest point of Nebraska football, then hopefully it's nearing its end. Miami, I mentioned, like incredibly blue blood. Nebraska is a blue blood. I don't, the argument that I've seen for people against Nebraska on Twitter is from all the 4-year-olds.
Yeah, it's children
who said, hey, look, Nebraska has not been good in my life. That is true, but you're also 10 years old. Nebraska has indeed been relevant, like in this century.
Yes.
They won their last national championship in 1997, but they were good for another 15 to 20 years after that.
Including
relevant.
Played 4-1.
I mean, think about like, right, play 4-1 in 2001. That's a good point. But like, you could look at the start of, at the end of Frank Solich, right? The start of Bill Callahan. You're like, oh boy, that's where it really starts. And while that's true from an ancillary standpoint, from how we look at Nebraska football, like that's where it really changed. I think that is correct. But remember, Nebraska was good enough to win a national championship or to play for a national championship as recently as probably 2010. That team could have done it. They lost Sue that year, but like they could have. They were one of the best teams in the country that year. They kind of blew it. They were one of the best teams in the country. So what? Are you going to take pictures? Oh, nice.
Damn paparazzi.
I know they always get us. They always get us. But for those of the people who are saying like, hey, look, Nebraska football has been bad for my entire life. You are 12 years old. It's just like Nebraska has been good relatively recently. And so I don't really get the argument on them. I understand how they haven't been relevant lately. But that's not the game we're playing when we're talking about blue bloods. We're not talking about recency bias. We're talking about friggin' blue. We're talking about the last basically 65. I don't know. Yeah, probably about 65 years.
Florida feels like one of those teams that, you're down now, but you've done the work before that.
Yeah, I don't have much doubt about that.
Yeah.
Florida State was one of the teams that I mentioned. They were one of Andy Staples' contenders. Penn State was one of Andy Staples' sure-on blue bloods, and they do not appear on this list. Much like, so Penn State has won. How many national championships have they won? One?
Get Ellie French on the phone.
So consensus national championships in 82 and 86. So basically we're talking about, two national championships here for Penn State. And then the argument for them was like, okay, well, they've been, pretty good over the last 20 years. If you look at Penn State and Nebraska side by side over the last 20 years, it's actually not that dissimilar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually not that far apart from each other. They just kind of flip times in which they were good and they were bad. Penn State was really, really down in the latter part of the aughts. And
what happened there?
Well, that was later.
Oh, well, okay.
that was
sorry. My timeline.
They had a coach who
there was an incident.
Well, there was an incident, but he was also very old.
Yes.
And not very willing to change.
Yes.
But that was before that. And then that happened.
Couple things running concurrently.
Yes, indeed. So
which Marty was here for when that story broke.
Marty was co-hosting the show in our he's told me the story a bunch of times about how excited he was.
Right?
Yeah, how excited he was to sit in with Michael for a day, and they had all this cool like Star Wars stuff planned. And then the Penn State story broke.
Sorry, Marty.
Show changed.
We just can't.
Show changed a little bit.
Which, on the Star Wars note, Jeremiah tweets in.
Hi, Jeremiah.
Interesting handle Jeremiah has, @PieBeatsCake.
I love that. He's right, though.
Right. I go on vacation back to my home state, come back to hear Josh calling baseball and talking Star Wars. That's the show I love. What a time to be alive.
You never know what you're going to get on this show.
That's right. We're zany.
We are zany. So to finish that off, he said, the best part is I was already driving to fish at Prairie Queen next door. Here's to more kayaking and illegible tweets. Oh, Jeremiah's the one who talked to tweets us, and I have to decipher him on the air. He's going to fish at the lake next door. You know that there's a big man-made lake out there.
Big lake?
Not that big lake, different big lake. There is a big lake.
Okay.
But it's like a man-made new lake out there. I think that's what that is. Prairie Queen. Nice spot. Papillion, Sarpy County, great place to go. People forget. Fun. Our sports action. Shopping, things of that nature.
They got it all in Sarpy County.
Indeed, they do. So I don't know where we we just evaluated basically all the ones that Andy Staples gave us on this list. The bottom line is like you can make it about whatever criteria you want in the blue blood conversation. I tend to make it more about actual facts instead of like, ooh, I feel like Oregon's a blue blood. Like if we're talking about blue bloods, it's a different conversation from powers.
There's almost no criteria that puts Oregon in that list.
We're talking like you have to have the best of the best. We're talking All-Americans, Heisman trophies, national championships. That's what you got to have. And you got to have a lot of them. And you got to have a lot of them basically every year, with the exception, obviously, of national championships. Those are a little bit more difficult to come by. But, I mean, all-time nationally relevant programs, and we're not talking about a span of 10, not talking about a span of 15 or 20 or 30. This is like 60-plus years.
No natties, one Heisman up there in the Pacific Northwest at Oregon.
No natties, one Heisman. I'm sure they have several All-Americans, but everybody else in this list has 1,000.
Change the game with the uniform combos.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, I went to Shields and bought reversible Nike Oregon shorts. I did. It changed my life. I love Dennis Dixon. He's one of my favorite college football players of all time. They don't deserve to be in the blue blood conversation. They're cool and fun. They're the team that the kids want to be on the stupid video game. That's all. That's fine. It's a good program. They might win national championships under Dan Lanning. Then we can reevaluate them. But no, you got to have some history behind it, just a little bit. This is new. It's new for them. All right, if you guys have thoughts on who isn't a blue blood, please let us know. 402-951-1620. A couple things here for the text line. Jasker Todd writes in. Another bad food take by Connor. First, pie and cake aren't that good.
Pie and cake?
And now cake is better than pie. Well, okay. So let's get this straight. I probably have said that first one. Pie and cake are not that good. I love a good pie.
What's your dessert?
Ice cream.
Okay.
Ice cream. The second sentence, he's saying, Jason Todd is saying cake is better than pie. I disagree. And now, this is a wide variance. We're talking about all cakes versus all pie.
There's so much bad cake out there.
There's so much bad pie, too. But I'm just saying, like, generally, I want the crunch of the pie. I want the bottom part,
The older I
talk about a cheese, is a cheesecake a pie or is it a cake?
Oh, wow.
Or is it a cheesecake?
Might be its own thing. The older I get, the more I lean towards pie.
It kind of looks like a pie. It gets cut into pie shape.
Cheesecake. Cheesecake. It's right there in the name.
Yeah, but, I mean, it looks like a pie to me. Poll question. Is cheesecake pie?
Okay.
This is the questions These are the type of questions we vowed to not do on this show. Is a hot dog a sandwich? But here we are.
Is cheesecake pie?
Jeff writes in on the
Hi,
text
Jeff.
line. Hope that was Josh's kid he just pushed away. Would have been funnier if it was some random child.
Yeah, I'm just smacking rando kids here. No, that was mine. That's mine.
All right. We have a call. Hey, Joey, do we still have a caller?
Yeah, let me check.
Okay. Yeah.
Who knows with that phone system,
Yeah, you
Joe?
go ahead and check real quick. If not, we're gonna see what's going on in the 42 Degrees of Source hotline right now. By the way, we are live here at Werner Park for Omaha and Toledo for a little matinee baseball. 4-3. The Mud Hens lead with the Storm Chasers, who's turned a double play.
Former Reaver and former Blue Jay Anthony Benboom hit into a double
Let's go.
play.
Roll Jays.
Oh, no, that was not Roll Jays.
But he hit into a double play. 4-6-3 to second baseman Ryan Fitzgerald, former Blue Jay. Roll Jays.
Okay.
There you go. Joey, do we still have a caller?
No, we do not.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Let's take a quick timeout then. Come back. More baseball and fun and shenanigans from Werner Park on the other side on 1620 The Zone. Welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you here from Werner Park on the Connor Happer Show. 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Come on out. Check out some baseball in Sarpy County.
Fun.
There is fun for all. And you could even go out to Big Lake.
I didn't know about this Big Lake half an hour ago.
There's regular lake, and then there's Big Lake. Deion Sanders.
Oh,
it is Coach Prime Day.
Connor.
At Big 12 Media Days.
Did he say something? Did he say something's personal?
He hasn't yet. He hasn't got into what's personal and what's not personal. I can report that he is indeed wearing sunglasses.
Oh, yeah, that was a given.
He was in a bright football stadium in Las Vegas, and he's wearing sunglasses, but he's got to rep the brand. Absolutely have to. He said this about Big Idea Commissioner Man, who we love.
I'll bet he loves Big Idea Commissioner Man.
You would be correct. Quote, he's a baller, shot caller, and a boss. What do you think of that, Josh?
I mean, Brett Yormark does come from the music community.
Here's another one. This is totally stream of tweets here, which I'm really enjoying because he's talking at the moment. Colorado's Deion Sanders, quote, I'm judged on a different scale. My wins are totally different than your wins. Now, what do you think that means? What do you think that means?
I think that means he had to, because he's the only coach that's ever had to work his way up the corporate ladder and work hard to get what he's gotten. And, these other coaches are just handed 5-star recruits and
oh my
wins.
God. I would love more context on that because I'm not exactly sure what he was attempting to say.
Yeah.
But he does love to do that.
Right.
He does love to do the hey, look, man, I'm different because I'm me.
Yeah.
And it's harder for me.
Nobody would have said that I could. Nobody let me be a coach. I had to go be a coach.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That could be what he was saying. Anyway, we look forward to whatever Coach Prime has to say this afternoon. I'm very excited.
I do. And to those that think we're giving Colorado bulletin board material.
What, do people still think that?
Yes.
Really? Are they mad at us? Are they mad at us?
You're giving us far too much credit.
Yeah, I mean, they only listen most of the time in their football facility out there.
Yeah,
when I was in the area this past weekend, I drove over there and I put a big boom box on the front door, and it had 1620 The Zone on it.
One of those bumper stickers?
Yeah. Or no, it's crazy. Our signal actually reaches all the way out there.
It doesn't hit all of Omaha, but it does get out to Boulder.
That's exactly right. So I made sure I put the boom box in the doorstep.
That was by design. They sat me down and they said, Josh, okay, you got two choices. You can have one or the other. Your station can work.
See ya.
In Omaha. Tied up. Oh, that's a go ahead dong.
Hello, Nate Eaton just went to Dongtown on the home run porch. Population U, buddy. Right off the home run porch sign. We should do now. I don't know, Nick Batters. Do you think he'd be mad at us if we did some play-by-play for a half? Or do you think Marty would be mad at us? Do you think this is bad?
I think Nick would say he's okay with it, but actually be like, man, I'm the guy. Even though the
guy.
Even though the game is
the guy. There's no threat that he's not the guy.
Yeah, the game's not on coil today because it's a day game.
But it'd be funny if we took the Storm Chasers clip and it had Nick's thing on it, and then we have us on our stupid 360 cam that's sitting right here, and your kid who's got a snow cone.
Green snow cone in a solo cup.
Hey, green is a great choice. Good flavor.
You like it? Is it good?
Good flavor.
Would you recommend?
And a big old lemonade.
Big old lemonade.
You got to get Timo over there.
You got to get big old lemonade when you're at the ballpark.
You do have to get big lemonade. Okay, on Colorado. It's the Peterman. He's here.
Peterman.
Peterman was doing the camera earlier, and then he stopped.
I saw he was pointing a camera at Connor Happer. I was like, oh, family affair is what I called it.
The camera was working. That was good. Here is Deion Sanders on how Colorado fits in the Big 12. Quote, why would we be trying to fit into anything? Sure. I never tried to fit into nothing. We don't fit in, man. We fit out.
Okay, I kind of get that. He should be saying that exact thing. Is it ridiculous nonsense? Yes, but that's him. That's his brand, and it.
I'm actually fine with that.
Yeah,
it's his deal.
What is the Big 12 to fit into?
But it's funny because You know what I think about, and I want to talk about them in a second because Bill Connolly had their the Big 12 projection out today from his SP Plus.
Is it good?
Oh, we'll talk about it in a second. It's not, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay.
I feel like that is a program, and it's yes specifically Dion, but I think it stretches into like the vibe of the entire show over there. Like that is like they show up to a media day event, and everybody else is asking him these questions of like, with the twinge of, hey, do you think this is going to work? Or like, you got some tough questions to answer after year one. You kind of stunk. You're 4-8 and all this stuff. And like Coach Prime will hear that and he'll listen to these questions and he will probably respond with what are you talking about? Everything is great. He seems like the kind of guy who definitely reads all the stuff online, but only the good stuff.
Yes.
And only the stuff that his people are writing or podcasting about or video twitching. Like that, it just strikes me as a program that lives in its own bubble.
Yes.
That can be healthy to some extent, but it can't be completely healthy.
Listen to the way Dion answers those questions, and then next week when Sam Pittman is asked a lot of similar, do you think this is going to work, buddy?
Yeah.
Questions.
Yeah.
And I'll bet they're different answers.
Now, to I guess Dion's credit, like, if you're getting heat, you don't feel it as much because in your world, you don't have heat.
Yeah.
There is no heat.
You're the greatest.
You're just the best, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that's like a blissfully ignorant way to think about life. There could be a case made for that. Because we saw it with Frost. We saw it with any other coach who was about to get fired at Nebraska. They knew that they were about to get fired before they got fired.
Yep.
And they expressed those concerns a lot of the time.
Not a single person was surprised when they got called into the office.
Right. Maybe Bo kind of was, considering he asked to be fired the year before that and they didn't do it. But no, maybe Frank maybe was too. I'm not sure.
Frank probably was.
John emails in, good Lord, Deion Sanders can't flame out and get fired soon enough. Oh, boy. I don't know what's going to happen with them this year. But I do have a projection here.
Okay.
So maybe we can get a better guess. This is from Bill Connolly, does the SP Plus.
BC.
So his 2024 projections in the 16-team, is that correct? 16-team Big 12?
Yes.
I'll go down 1 to 16, Josh.
Oh, no.
You count them out for me.
Okay.
Kansas State.
1.
Utah.
2.
Oklahoma State.
3.
Arizona.
4.
Iowa State.
5. A lot of people high on Arizona this year.
West Virginia.
6.
Texas Christian.
7.
Kansas.
8.
Texas Tech.
9.
Central Florida.
10.
Baylor.
11.
BYU.
12.
Colorado.
13.
Cincinnati.
14.
Houston.
15.
Arizona State.
16. It's not good.
13 out of 16. Bill Connolly.
How many wins is that?
SP Plus gives them a 0.4% chance to win the Big 12, a 0.0% chance at 11 or more wins, and a 13.8% chance at 6+ wins. The blurb on them a little bit later on was like, I think they're improved. They're also a little bit of a difficult team, obviously, to read because of the way that they take transfers and things of that nature. We have some paparazzi getting after us again.
Yeah, they got some Pearl the Pearl questions.
Oh, mid-5.
They're going to drive a truck on the field and you'll throw it in.
Mid-5. And that's coming up right. No, you still got 3 more outs before you get there. Here's the little blurb on Colorado. Based on the ratings in the upcoming new EA Sports College football game, you might have expected Colorado to land a lot higher on the list. If the projections were based on how good are your 2 best players or how were your TV ratings last year, Deion Sanders' Buffalo would have definitely be rated higher. But their track record has earned no such respect. Sanders inherited an utterly dreadful team that had gone 1-11 and ranked 126 in the SP Plus. And wheeling and dealing in the transfer portal produced a team good enough to improve by 3 wins and 45 spots on SP Plus. But the hype machine, already loud in the offseason, grew out of control, and after a 3-0 start, the Buffs won just 1 more game and finished 81st in SP Plus. here's the kind of they go through all the players that they got in the transfer portal and where they got them from. And then it says this: Sanders, Dion, did do more of an interesting job of signing potential impact transfers on defense this time, bringing in known disruptors at the defensive line and in the linebacker spot. All these moves are likely to generate further improvement, but the hype machine is likely making too much noise yet again, and mere improvement will probably be again viewed as disappointing. So the story here, Colorado better, but not good.
Better but not good, yeah.
Better but not good.
And I wonder if the narrative on First Take and Pat McAfee and College Game Day on those shows, if they just ignore Colorado, or if they do, hey, in case you forgot, it's not working, or they're improving but they're not good still. Like, that's how far away they were, or this Dion thing just ain't working. Like, I wonder if the narrative changes on
I wonder. There's not a whole lot of big games on their schedule.
Right.
That was the thing that kind of kept them alive last year. Obviously, the 3-0 start propelled them, but
the Pac-12
then they played
being so good.
But then they played USC and Oregon, kind of right after that, and it was like, all right, well, let's see how this stacks up. There's not a whole lot of those opportunities this year. Like K-State is the Big 12 favorite according to SP Plus. It's not like that's a huge national brand or anything like that. They're not competing for a national championship. They are competing for a playoff spot, so there's that. But the brand power is lost in the Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC. And so Colorado joins the conference. They don't have any brand star power. Well, they have star power, but they don't have brand football power at the moment. So I'll be curious. I'm with you, Josh. I'll be curious to see how it's sort of approached on the various networks. I imagine that they will continue to not shut up about them. So, and after Nebraska beats them in week 2, they'll say, what's wrong with Colorado? Not, why is Nebraska good? So that's one thing that we can look forward to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Still live here at Werner Park. We're in the top of the 5th here with 1 out and a 6-4 Chasers lead.
I don't think we're going 159 today.
Nope. Going a little longer than that.
Yeah, that's okay.
We'll be here with you until 2. We roll on. The Connor Happer Show back next on 1620 The Zone. right, welcome back to Warner Park. More AAA baseball today. I think we'll do this one more time still before the season is out. Remember, the Storm Chasers are first half champions. The first half is over. The champion Storm Chasers have clinched a spot in the playoffs. Playoff series will be here in middle to late September, a few weeks into football season. It'll be good to get playoff baseball back here at Warner Park. First time in quite some time. A couple other things we need to get to today here on the show. Yes, one segment after this. That is correct. By the way, Josh Peterson has chimed in on the poll question that reads, does Josh Peterson seem like a guy who dips his chicken tenders in ketchup?
That's all we're asking. Not does he or does he not?
He says 94% of you are idiots. So that gives you a pretty good hint on where things ended up. We'll, of course, get to the poll question results here in about 15 or so minutes. But, Josh, we cannot go anywhere today without getting to our graphic of the day.
Hello.
Our graphic of the day, which I think that's where we settled on as far as the name is concerned.
I believe that's where we're at.
All right, our graphic of the day is here, and it's brought to you by Could Be You. This one is from @CFB College Football Report. Now, have I told you before how I created a fake troll account?
Yes.
In this same vein,
just to
stir up various fan bases. Yes, I did that once. Joe Biden, I did that. By the way, Josh is wondering if we're doing a crossover today, and yes, we are.
Oh yeah,
let's definitely do a crossover. So we got some things to say. So I did the CFB report. Now this is just CFB report. Relationship between recruiting and players getting drafted in college football, 2014 to 2023. So the vertical axis is the average number of players drafted in the last 10 years. It goes from 0 to 10. And the horizontal axis, the X is horizontal, Y is vertical. I believe that's correct. We've had this discussion before.
We have.
Anyway, average rank of recruiting class in the last 10 years. And so there's specific areas where you want to be and where you don't want to be.
X is left to right, Y is up and down.
Got it. We were correct. So in the top right portion of this, you are maxed out in terms of your recruiting ranking and in terms of the amount of players you get drafted every year. No surprise that Alabama is pushed up into the far, far, far reaches of the top right corner.
Interesting.
They are the best recruiting program over the last 10 years, and they are the best draft development program in the last 10 years as well. And they've basically been the best football program in the last 10 years. So no surprise there. Ohio State, Georgia, LSU, and Michigan, all of those teams in that same sort of sphere. Obviously, Alabama is far above both of all four of the rest of those. But those are the powers of the sport right now. And then there's a couple other areas that I want to take a quick look at. I'm sure you're wondering, where does Nebraska end up on this stupid graphic?
Are they on the graphic at all?
Well, they're definitely on the graphic. As you might be familiar with, Nebraska actually recruits pretty well. So they're pretty far to the right of this graphic. They are pretty far to the right. But you know what they haven't done basically at all in the last 10 years? Put anybody into the NFL. It certainly get guys drafted each year is something that Nebraska's done a bad job at. Nebraska, as is well known, but this graphic shows, is one of the worst over the last 10 years at taking the talent they have and making absolutely anything out of it. They are not capable of doing that. So, it's one of those things that's just kind of got to get a little bit better for Nebraska football. So they're bad. It's bad development, basically, is what the chart on Nebraska is saying.
And it will, I think. I think they're poised to to get some guys here in the next 2-3 seasons that go to the NFL and hopefully do quite well from decades to come.
We'll see. I think they'll always be able to recruit. Theoretically, you want to put those guys, certainly more of them, into the NFL. You have to have success at the college level. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty foregone conclusion that Nebraska will do better, like you said, in that category. Just like I think it's a pretty foregone conclusion that Nebraska will win more games. Like, I was having this discussion with somebody over the weekend, and this is, far from now the graphic of the day. This is more of a big picture Nebraska question, but like, was having this big picture discussion over the weekend with somebody, and what I got to is basically this. Like, they were asking about, hey, what do you think about Rhule, and what are the concerns that you have? Like, what are the things that are good about this, and where do you think it's going to end up in a couple of years? What I basically came up with was, I think that this staff is going to have no problem getting back to, I mean, in a different way, in a different vehicle. But basically, if we're talking about a win total perspective, 8-9 wins, 7-8-9 wins, basically, for all intents and purposes, where Bo had it.
Yeah.
When he left. Like I said, different vehicle to get there. I think this will be a far less emotional program than that program was. Far, far, far less emotional. That should lead to them not so much crumbling in, big games and big situations as that team had propensity to do. And, they were really good, to their credit. The inverse of that, the opposite side of that, Josh, was that program was really good when they had their backs against the wall. I mean, they said they needed to win 6 in a row in 2012, and damn it, they did it. They
were ready.
And they got to the Big Ten championship game and then got smashed by Wisconsin, a game that they were, I think they were more than a touchdown favorite in that game. So, that was pretty much the Bo experience that year. So I'm not saying it's going to feel like that at all, but as far as the win totals are concerned, I just really think that they're going to get back there with ease. My question is, what happens after that? This is a very competent program builder, a guy who could develop players. And now what's the interesting wrench in this entire thing is that you have a quarterback who is better than any other quarterback that's ever been. He's on his face, he's probably the highest recruited quarterback in school history, if not second. I mean, Tommy Frazier was, 1 or 2 in that category. So we're talking about Dylan Raiola and Tommy Frazier as far as national recruiting notoriety here. And so you have that to kind of jumpstart this thing, and theoretically it does. So who knows where that could take him, and maybe that changes the trajectory of what they're going to be. But man, like I don't have much doubt that they're going to get back to a pretty reasonable place in very, very short order.
I think most reasonable fans are pretty sure we can get to 8, 9, 10 consistently. It's that next level. Can you get to that next level? Can you do the Iowa thing where every third or fourth year you pop up and win 12 instead of 10? That's the question mark, and that's going to be on Dylan's shoulders, on the coaching staff, and after Dylan, can they recruit to a similar level?
So this is a question for later. This is a question for after Nebraska gets to that point. But, or maybe it's a better one now because we're released. We don't have the emotion of being in the moment. Do you obviously you want them to be as good as they can possibly be, but if they do, in 3 or 4 years, if it's 9 wins and 9 wins and 8 wins, or 8 and 9, or 8, 9 and 10, or whatever it is, and they're in the hunt consistently for the playoff in 4 or 5 years, are you sick of that? Are you done? Or are you like, all right, well, we got to finally take the next step? I mean, that's what happened with Bo.
So it depends on what it looks like, right?
It absolutely depends on what it looks like. But I don't know. It'll be interesting because Rhule, while he has played for a Big 12 title and won a conference title at Temple, has never has never built a program and then sustained it.
Mm-hmm.
He's built a program and then left.
Yes.
So that's kind of the interesting piece of this. And so I believe that he's going to stay here for
a little bit,
for a long time,
longer than he did other stops.
I think that too. I think he'll be here longer than he was at those previous 2 stops. But the question is, does he know what's behind that door?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you build? I've always credited him with being a guy who could figure stuff out, and I love that part of his game. I love that part of his coaching acumen. But like, what's beyond the other side of that door once you get to the door is really interesting to me, but we're not at the door yet. So maybe it's not important right now.
I always said to myself during the lean times of the last decade or so, like, man, I hope as your doppelganger hits one to
let's go
the gap there.
I'm back.
I always said, now I hope if Nebraska can get this thing back up to 8, 9, 10 wins a year, I hope I appreciate it more and I'm not angry with it.
Oh yeah.
Now that I've seen.
Well, that was an emotional time, Josh.
Yeah,
It was very emotional. The coach was emotional.
Now that the coach is level-headed, cool, calm, and collected, maybe I too will be cool, calm, and level-headed.
Maybe.
That's
the hope anyway. We all can hope for better things for ourselves. One more quick thing here before we get to the polls and get out of here. So remember we discussed Bill Connolly's SP Plus preview of the Big 12. Another thing happened in that story today. Wasn't just the Colorado part of it. That was the part we focused on before. There was a bit about Kansas and what Lance Leipold has done, and it has triggered some people.
Many people said 9, too low.
So here. I'll just read it to you from ESPN's Billy C. It says this. A couple years ago, I visited Lawrence for a piece on Lance Leipold and his building job at Kansas. I told a Kansas State fan, as sacrilegious as it might sound, Leipold was pulling off major Bill Snyder vibes. I evidently was underselling it. Both Snyder and Leipold took their respective jobs at K-State and KU at the time of shocking ineptitude. In the 10 years before Snyder arrived at K-State in '89, the Wildcats had a .221 winning percentage with an average SP Plus percentile rating of 22.1. In the 10 years before Leipold arrived at Kansas, Kansas was worse. 154 winning percentage and a 16.8 average percentile rating on SP Plus, even lower than K-State's devastating late 80s lows. And then there's a couple different categories comparing Lance Leipold and Bill Snyder. First years on the job, Snyder 1-10, Leipold 2-10. Second year, Snyder 5-6, Leipold 6-7. Third year, Snyder 7-4, Leipold 9-4. Leipold inherited a job even harder than Snyder's. And through 3 years, he has reached even higher highs. And so this has greatly triggered Kansas State fans. I mean, greatly.
Sure, that's their guy. That's
indeed. And so it was funny reading through the comments because the biggest problem that they had with it was not necessarily getting angry that Leipold and Bill Snyder are comparable figures. They're actually okay with that idea. What they were less okay with was saying that Kansas, about 5 years ago, was in worse shape than K-State was in the late 80s before Snyder took over. They were like, no, we were worse than you guys. We were worse. Like, come on, that was a harder job. I thought that was a really interesting piece to take away from it.
What an odd sticking point.
What an odd sticking point indeed. But, I mean, that's the first comparison of those two people that have seen, that laid out that way. It is amazing. Kansas's win total is in the neighborhood of 8, I think, this year. I can't pull up FanDuel at this baseball park because it's not allowed. But
rule number 1.
It's definitely rule number 1. But it's pretty high for this year. They are one of the top, 3 or 4 teams in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
They are, if things break right for them, there is a world where they could make the playoff this year. They have a very good quarterback. They have a very good head coach. And all the other parts are kind of catching up to the rest of that. And so this is now a program that is like it's not just a cute story anymore. Like Lance Leipold, and everyone is like, yeah, well, I love Lance Leipold. I think he's a great coach. I wonder, because he's had obviously plenty of opportunities to go elsewhere, but if he gets Kansas to the playoff, like you have to start thinking about him getting calls for big jobs.
NFL jobs, maybe?
NFL jobs or the biggest college ones you could think of.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy that you'd have to be interested in, what they did. Now, not every program is built the same, and not everybody wants a guy who could rebuild programs and then make them stand for a while. But my goodness, that resume is really difficult to deny at this point.
And he's stayed in each offseason, and Kansas has been able to turn that into new facility after new facility after new facility.
Kansas being good is just a weird thing.
It is. You're going to have to deal with the Kansas Jayhawks.
I think when we were, I think when Kansas had that run where they went to the Orange Bowl with Reesing and those guys, we were like, oh, this is awesome. Like, but we knew.
Let them have this.
We knew it was going to be short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't seem like that. This does not seem like that.
It doesn't. And now,
Lance Leipold could be there for 10 years and be really good for 10 years.
Definitely.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting a brand new football stadium where they're demolishing their own and changing, just like they're northwesterning themselves.
They're building back better.
Except for instead of on a practice field, they get to play at Arrowhead and Sporting KC
instead of Big Lake.
All right. Playoff. Theo says on the YouTube, and laughing emoji. He's very angry about the idea of Kansas going to the playoff.
I mean, it's an outside shot, but I mean,
guys, Kansas has a chance to go to the playoff. I'll say it. They could I'm not going to say that Kansas is going to make the playoff, but they're like a top 20 team in the country. Every top 20 team in the country has it.
That's where I was. They could be in that 12 through 25 range where, if so and so beats so and so and Kansas wins this game, they're right there in the conversation.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, we will come back 9-4. Storm Chasers here at Werner Park, and there's a sliced off bat. Everybody okay? Everybody alive?
Looks like it.
All right, we got a shard of a bat in the third base coaching well. Throw it at him like Roger Clemens threw it at Mike Piazza.
Check it for corks like Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Bat Boy's got the fat end of the bat.
Oh, it was a torque. It was a torque bat too.
Oh, who's going to get the lucky torque bat? Oh, there's a shard that he's picking up near home plate. All right, Torque's got to get a new bat.
Torque should try the cork.
While Torque tries the cork, we'll take a break. Be back with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch from Werner Park on 1620 The Zone. All right, as I'm known to do sometimes, Josh, let me cut some of the legs out of what to watch tonight.
Oh, okay.
USA basketball versus Canada basketball in a showcase game. 9:30 tonight.
That's where you put showcase games at 9:30.
It's called, a better word for it is an exhibition.
Yes.
But
FS1.
FS1 will be broadcasting this game. Specifically, the broadcasters, Gus Johnson, Bill Raftery, and Christina Pink.
Okay. Now,
is this in a high school gym, or what? Where is this going to take place at?
There are several avenues to go here. We can laugh.
How'd you get Gus off a vacation?
Who's gonna play for Team USA? Because it's not Kawhi Leonard.
Correct, which is hilarious, by the way.
The most
Who could have predicted this? That Kawhi doesn't want to play basketball.
The game is in Vegas.
Okay. All right.
Feels like a terrible, terrible mistake.
Awesome. Gus Johnson, Vegas, rock and roll.
Uh-huh.
Bill Raftery, Vegas. I bet he's going to have a couple glasses of wine tonight.
I would think so.
No doubt about it. To the polls. Josh at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed did these polls live from Werner Park. Werner Park polls. If Nobby's was a thing, could you buy a bullhorn at Nobby's?
I don't think you could.
I bet you definitely could. That sounds like the perfect thing for Nobby's.
It was a big store, but I don't know if it had that.
54% say yes. Does Josh Peterson seem like a guy who dips his chicken tenders in ketchup?
Seems is the key word there.
Yep. Yes. 86% say yes. Very unfortunate.
Now, it was at 94 earlier, so Josh has courted some voters to his way of thinking, yes.
Is going to a car wash a bad date?
Absolutely.
I think, yeah, it is. 68% agree. Is cheesecake pie?
I don't know that I'm with you on this one. I think it's cake.
I made a very half-assed run at this. I'm going to back off it.
Okay.
I'm going to say that cheesecake is cheesecake, much like a hot dog is a hot dog, and a sandwich is a sandwich, and chili is chili. A cheesecake is not a pie. It's a cheesecake. 67% also say no. Those are the polls. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching baseball on ESPN. That's right.
Baseball?
ESPN Baseball on a Wednesday. 6 o'clock start between the Phillies and the Dodgers. The Phillies got everyone back and mashed last night. Maybe they'll do it again. Phillies-Dodgers tonight on ESPN. Braves Diamondbacks out west, ESPN Plus at 8:40 MLB Network. I believe the Royals and Cardinals are on right now. It'll flip over to Twins White Sox a little later, and then your nightcap Blue Jays Giants on MLB Network. This is a sports adjacent entity. Netflix debuts the 8-part docuseries Receiver, following 5 NFL receivers.
I'm out.
I can't imagine I'll be watching this, but Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it is interesting receivers, but I'm hoping somebody pushes some clips out on YouTube.
Yeah, don't worry.
On this one.
Did you see how many clips that went out last night after the stupid Giants Hard Knocks thing?
Yeah.
Oh, people were like, oh, Drake May. Drake May. And then people were like, what's his name? Ohio State quarterback who was going to go to Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, he took a strike.
Kyle McCord.
Yeah.
The GM was trying to bait Marvin Harris, Maserati Marv, into saying that his quarterback sucked. And that guy happened to be Kyle McCord. Hey, that was a bad throw, right? He didn't take the bait because he's a good guy.
He is.
And he knows what he's doing. Good job, Maserati Marv.
2 more for you. 7 o'clock Discovery Channel. It is Shark Week. Night 4 includes Great White North, Expedition Unknown, Shark Wrecks of World War II, and Alien Sharks, Ghosts of Japan at 9 o'clock. And finally, Season 3 premiere on ABC, 7 o'clock. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Little twist this time. Jimmy Kimmel hosts Celebrity Pairs. Our
What's that
contestant.
mean?
John Mulaney and Nick Kroll will compete as a team for charity. And then Keenan and Kel will also compete for charity.
Sure.
It's July.
What is television?
Baby.
What is television? One quick one before we go from Pedro.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. Connor, when Josh told you he was slinging beer for some moolah, you looked at him like he was a tiny dancer making his money in his BVDs.
BVDs. I haven't heard that reference in a while.
I was very puzzled by that.
You were.
We could maybe dive further into it.
I'm happy to do it whenever.
We got a lot of time here in July, Josh.
That's right.
It's 9-4 right now. We will continue with more radio from the ballpark, but it won't be the Connor Happer Show anymore. It'll be the crossover. If you missed anything, you can find it all at 1620thezone.com. The afternoon crossover is next.